Yeah. Hello. Oh, shoot. Oh, wait. I thought that was my AirPods. It's not. How are you, Casey and Susan? Um, oh, man. How's everybody doing? You ready to go over some very Morphew indictment? I'll turn this off. It cool down somewhat. I got a brand new cup of coffee. I probably shouldn't be drinking it this late, but I was gonna do decaf, but I don't know. It's like maybe I should do caffeine, but I've been drinking so much coffee so quick. It's been tasting so good. I'm gonna turn this off though. At least when I read it, I have some videos I'll play and then I'll turn it back on for that to cool it off. But when I read the indictment, I want it off. Okay, so hi, best of me. Hi, Lotus. All right, so I'm okay. How are you? How the heck are you? How's everybody? Say hi, everybody. All right, I'm gonna read the Berry indictment and see. Wait, first of all, how? Actually, you know what though? I'm gonna wait because I was gonna ask how many are familiar, and I was gonna explain it a little bit. But I'm gonna read it first because the chances are this will actually explain the case, some of the case, and then. Is there any? Oh, hey, Debly. Is there anybody here that isn't familiar with the case? Um, And if not, like I said, I wouldn't mind like going over some old videos and stuff, but I want to go over the new stuff first. Hey, Jordan, Jaden's Gigi. Hey, Twisted Stitches. Oh, thank you. Thanks. Um, Thank you. Oh, that's sweet. Hey, Renee. Yay, you came back. Got some new people in tonight, or like new people chatting. Rachel, I know. Yay for Susan. It's about time, right? Well, I'm gonna read the indictment, Susan, first, and it'll actually explain some stuff. And like I said, then we'll go over some old stuff too. Okay, so here's the new indictment. I mean, it goes over like everything really though. Okay. So um okay, of the 24-25 term of the 12th Judicial District in the year 2025, Rangers, blah, 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 blah. Okay, count one. Let me zoom in a little bit more. That's actually, there we go. Count one, murder in the first degree after deliberation on May 9th to May 10th, 2020. So 5 years ago. In the triable triable in the state of Colorado, Barry Morphew unlawfully, feloniously, after deliberation, and with intent to cause death of a person other than himself, caused the death of Suzanne Morphew in violation of, and then it says probable cause for count one is as follows. At 5:46 p.m. on May 10th, 2020, Mother's Day, mind you, Sunday, Suzanne Morphew was reported missing to police by her neighbor. The last known person to see her alive was her husband, Barry Morphew. Investigators responded to the Morphew residence, Colorado, to investigate the missing person report. The house was locked and Suzanne Morphew was not home. Her vehicle was in the garage. Her redacted vehicle was in the garage. There were no signs of forced entry, and her bike was missing. I remember the bike was missing. I think it was all planted. He threw it all down the hill to make it look like she got in like an accident or something. Somebody took her. I remember he threw out the, "Oh, a bear." Anyway, we'll go over all that in a minute. Later that evening, her bike was located down a hillside off a dirt road between her house and Highway 50. The bike was located less than a mile from the Morphew home. On May 14th, 2020, her bike helmet was located 10 meters off the side of the highway, of side of Highway 50, approximately 1.52 miles west of the Morphew home and approximately 0.84 miles west of where her bike was located. Barry Morphew was interviewed and told police that he set his alarm and woke up at 4:30 a.m. on May 10th, 2020. He told police that he left at 5 a.m. on May 10th, 2020 for a pre-planned work trip in Broomfield, Colorado. According to Barry, Suzanne was still asleep in bed when he left the house at 5 a.m. on May 10th, 2020. He told police she planned to ride her bike that day. Barry stated that upon arriving in Broomfield that morning, he checked in a hotel before leaving shortly after for the job site. Um, he told police that he received a call around 5 p.m. on May 10th, 2020 from his neighbors while physically at the Broomfield job site. The neighbors told Barry that his daughters were concerned because they could not reach Suzanne all day. And, it was Mother's Day, so they're trying to call their mom, right? Um, Barry instructed the neighbors to check the house and specifically look for her bike. Wonder why? The plan. Ugh. The neighbors reported to Barry that neither Suzanne nor the bike were at the house. And Barry then instructed them to call the sheriff. Police interviewed one of Barry's employees scheduled to assist him with the Broomfield job. The employee told law enforcement that the employee and Barry were not planning to leave for Broomfield until the evening hours of May 10th, 2020. They were supposed to drive together. Instead, Barry left without telling the employee. Barry called the employee at approximately 11:18 a.m. and informed the employee that he had left without them. When the employee arrived in Broomfield on Sunday evening, the employee noticed that Barry Morphew had failed to bring the proper tools with him for the job, and the necessary materials for the job had not yet arrived at the site. Review of the cameras at the hotel and nearby businesses revealed that Barry was in the Broomfield area for approximately 9 hours and 45 minutes. Of those hours, he spent less than one half of an hour at the job site. Instead, besides two brief visits to the job site area, electronic evidence and cameras from businesses showed him driving around at various locations and discarding unknown items in separate trash cans. Hotel footage then showed Barry arriving back at his hotel room and remaining inside the room from approximately 12:34 to 5:55. Inconsistent with his statement to police, he was in the hotel and not at the job site when he received the call about his wife Suzanne being unresponsive and missing. In early interviews, with Barry, and sorry that I'll make that bigger, guys, so you guys could read along. Oh, that's why it never has like a good. There we go. You go manually. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, let me see something. It changes all the time. There we go. Okay. Are you guys following this so far, though? Okay, so in the early interviews with Barry, he told law enforcement that his marriage to Suzanne was the best and that the two had a wonderful weekend together. When Barry was asked whether Suzanne would say different about their relationship, Barry stated no. Barry Morphew's statements about his marriage to Suzanne were inconsistent with other witness accounts and evidence located. Specifically, investigators learned that Suzanne confided in people that she was unhappy in the marriage in the weeks and months leading to her disappearance. She discussed plans to divorce Barry with her close friend. She maintained documented notes of problems in their relationship recovered from electronic devices and the physical search of the Morphew home. Suzanne Morphew had been having a secret affair with an old acquaintance who lived out of state. She communicated with him daily over LinkedIn and WhatsApp. Suzanne's last known electronic message to anyone was to this person on May 9th, 2020 at 2:11 p.m., just 32 minutes before Barry returned home that day. Um An overall timeline of the week of Suzanne Morphew's disappearance shows that the disappearance coincided with her daughter, blank, the only other occupant of the Morphew residence, leaving on a pre-planned road trip out of state. Because of this, Suzanne Morphew and Barry Morphew expected to be alone at the residence starting on May 5th, 2020, until either late in the day on May 10th or into May 11th. Suzanne Morphew drove blank to Gunnison, Colorado on May 5th, 2020 to depart with her sister and friend on the planned road trip. After May 5th, Barry and Suzanne were alone in the house. Wow. A forensic download of Barry Morphew's cell phone revealed that Barry had deleted a text chain with Suzanne from which an image of a single text remained. A screenshot of this single text message was saved on Barry Morphew's phone on May 6, 2020. The image revealed a text from Suzanne that stated, "I'm done. I could care less what you're up to and have been for years. We just need to figure this out civilly." So that's what she wrote to him. On May 11th, 2020, authorities commenced a search of the Morphew residence that spanned several days. The state of the residence and vehicle showed no signs of a break in or intruder. Even with no signs of a break in or intruder, law enforcement collected items of potential evidence and DNA swabs. DNA analysis of the swabs collected produced several DNA profile mixtures consistent with what would be expected in the common areas of the home or vehicle. The mixture profiles were processed through offender databases and were compared to the profiles of known individuals who may have been present in the vehicles or the residence. The results did not lead to any stranger or intruder as suspects. An expert in DNA analysis testified that law enforcement provided an analyst with one of the partial profiles developed from the glove box of Suzanne Morphew's vehicle for further investigation using keyboard search. This allowed for additional comparisons to profiles in more databases, with less stringent quality control standards than the National DNA Index System, for the limited purpose of creating possible investigative leads. That expert further testified that there were matches to outside databases nationwide. The term match used by DNA analysts does not mean identical. Rather, a match only means that there were other profiles that could not be excluded of the limited number of loci available from the partial profile for comparison. The expert explained that she then compared the matches from those databases to the partial profile from the mixture on the glove box and excluded those out of state profiles as not originated from the same contributor in all but 3 instances. Finally, the expert explained that just because the profiles from those databases matched at the limited loci available for comparison, it did not mean that any of the people from the out-of-state profiles were the same person that contributed to the partial profile, to the mixture on the glove box. Law enforcement investigated those 3 partial matches obtained from 3 separate out-of-state sources and found no connection to the case. Law enforcement located a locked gun safe in the garage during the search of the Morphew residence. Inside that gun safe, law enforcement located a dart rifle or tranquilizer rifle positioned toward the front of the safe. Law enforcement also found packages of new dart brand tranquilizer darts in the gun safe, and this is important. The packages of the darts included capped hypodermic needles inside of them, which were designed to load the darts. Law enforcement found one of these needle caps in the dryer after the dryer's contents were removed. Law enforcement also found men's shorts among the contents of the dryer that were removed prior to finding the needle. The shorts appeared consistent with the shorts of Barry, with the shorts Barry was seen on video wearing May 9th, 2020, less than 1 hour before he returned to the Morphew residence. Wow. No tranquilizer formula was located during law enforcement's search of the home and vehicles. Police investigated numerous electronic devices and Suzanne's social media accounts, searching, among other things, for proof of life. That investigation revealed that Suzanne had not communicated electronically with any living person after 2:11 on May 9th, 2020. Her last possible activity on any account protected by password access was 3:08 p.m., over 24 hours prior to her being reported missing. Wow. Records showing her typical use of electronics and social media demonstrated that this was inconsistent with her typical pattern of life in the days leading up to her disappearance. Additionally, witnesses indicated they attempted to communicate with Suzanne throughout this time frame but received no response from her. These witnesses indicated that her lack of response was out of the ordinary. Barry Morphew's electronic devices were also analyzed. A download of the information or infotainment system on Barry Morphew's truck recovered telematics data showing the location and activity of his truck at certain times on May 9th and May 10th. A download of Barry's cell phone showed additional location information. Based on data from his cell phone, Barry returned to the Morphew residence at 2:43 p.m. on May 9th, 2020. The data did not show his phone or truck leaving the residence again until the morning of May 10th, 2020. The download of Barry Morphew's cell phone registered events related to his phone. An expert forensic analyst determined that some of these events were in fact Barry Morphew's phone being turned off during the time frame of May 9th into May 10th. Turning off a cell device effectively disables its ability to record location information. Specifically, the forensic analyst noted that Barry's phone download showed it was turned off at 2:47 p.m. on May 9th, only a few minutes after he arrived home at the residence where Suzanne sent her last electronic communication to anyone. At approximately 10:17 p.m. on May 9th, the phone was turned back on. So I mean that's probably when the murder took place on May 9th between 12:47 and 10:17. Probably closer around 2:47 since yeah. And then the rest was probably to clean up and covering it up. Oh, the phone was turned back on. Or at 10:17, the phone was turned back on. Turned back on. Barry's cell phone was again turned off at 4:32 a.m. on May 10th. Huh. Is that maybe when he went and hid her body? Or did he I guess he could have at between 2:47 and 10:17 too. Anyway, um, prior to him leaving the residence oh, yeah, because that was prior to him leaving the residence on his trip to Broomfield, but he could have on his way, right? It was not turned on again until 5:37 when the location information showed him on the road already in the area of Johnson Village, Colorado. Testimony established that the times Barry Morphew turned off his phone and corresponded to time periods of significance in the case where location information was consequently unavailable. Similarly, further analysis of the information from Barry's infotainment system, the telematics in his truck showed an irregular gap in recorded activities, specifically from approximately 3:49 a.m. to 8:10 a.m. on May 10th. There's no recorded data registering on Barry's infotainment system. An indication of no truck activity from telematics is inconsistent with other facts developed from Barry's phone surveillance footage and Barry's statements about his activities on May 10th. Specifically, telematics data showed Barry arrive at his residence 2:43 May 9th. It then registered various other activities through the afternoon at the residence until wait, what are they talking about? Hold on, sir. Surveillance footage, Barry telematics. Okay, sorry. So the telematics did show other activities throughout the afternoon at the residence until it ceased at 9:52 on May 9th. The telematics data then showed activities resumed from 3:25 a.m. to 3:49 a.m. on May 10th at a GPS location consistent with his driveway. Barry reported to law enforcement that he was asleep during that time frame from 3:49 to 8:10 a.m. On May 10th, the infotainment system or telematics did not register any data despite the fact that Barry's cell phone indicated the device was in Johnson Village at 5:37 a.m. on that day. And Barry reported being in his truck traveling to Broomfield at that time. When recorded telematics data became available again in the records from the infotainment system download at 8:10 a.m. on May 10th, corresponding to GPS coordinates showed that Barry had already arrived in the area of Broomfield. Um, this gap in registered data is inconsistent with the pattern of telematics data captured in the days and weeks leading up to this event. Phone records for both Suzanne and Barry were analyzed by expert investigators. The FBI CAS team analyzed phone records for both Barry and Suzanne to determine location information and device usage related to their cell phones. Suzanne Morphew's phone records. I gotta take a sip. Hold on. Oh, hey, general awareness and Justice Jane. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for coming. Thank you for coming. Okay, so this is a good case, guys. It's so glad that he was arrested again. Anyway, where are we at? Phone record. Yeah. Oh yeah, phone records for both Suzanne and Barry were analyzed by expert investigators. The FBI CAS team analyzed phone records for both Barry and Suzanne to determine location information and device usage related to their cell phones. In Suzanne's phone records, there was no indication of any user initiated activity after the time Barry returned home at 2:43 p.m. on May 9th. Um, Suzanne's cell phone device continued to connect through RTT data with cell tower that services the Morphew home throughout the night of May 9th into the early morning of May 10th. These automated data connections, however, were consistent with the tower reaching out to the phone to determine its location and not initiated by the user of the device. After 4:23 a.m. on May 10th, Suzanne's phone ceased to connect at all, ever again. So that means it's gone off. I mean, not even connecting. Just 8 minutes later, Barry's cell phone data showed his phone ceased to connect starting at 4:31 a.m. Consistent with the cell phone download showing it powering off at 4:32 a.m. Susan's cell phone never registered on any towers other than the tower consistent with Morphew residents from the time Barry returned home, 2:43 p.m. on May 9th, to the time it ceased activity altogether at 4:23 a.m. on May 10th. Despite searches for the device, Susan's phone was never found. Police interviewed people that knew Barry prior to his move from Indiana to Colorado in 2018. These witnesses told law enforcement that Barry was a deer farmer in Indiana. Several individuals told law enforcement that Barry used a specific tranquilizer called BAM to sedate and transport deer on his deer farm. Barry admitted to using BAM in both Indiana and Colorado. Specifically, he admitted to using BAM in Colorado as recently as April of 2020, stating that at that time he tranquilized a deer from the breezeway of the Morphew residence. On September 22nd, 2023, human remains. I just heard something downstairs. Sorry. Were found in and around a shallow clandestine grave in Sequatchie County. Yeah, my grandma's probably up. Oh man. Um. So anyway, So think about this. That took it was like over a year to find her. Okay. So when they arrested him and then when they ended up letting him go, they hadn't found her yet. So after they found her, they were able to, do an autopsy, see what's in her system, and build that case against him. And I forget what they called it, but they basically dismissed it. But what is that term where they were allowed to basically recharge him? But we'll get to all that. But so yeah, so they found her in a grave, a shallow one. The remains were found a few hundred feet down a dirt road off of Highway 17. This location was less than an hour south of the Morphew residence by main highways. The remains were determined to be those of Suzanne Morphew. The majority of her bones were recovered. Many of the bones were significantly bleached. Along with Suzanne's bones, law enforcement recovered a cancer port and items of clothing. She was fighting cancer too. And didn't she just wait? Well, I think she had her last treatment or something, and I'm pretty sure. I feel like it was she had fought it off, I think. But yeah. Oh, anyway. Some of which were consistent with biking clothing Suzanne was known to wear. There was no visible perimortem trauma observed. Um, okay. A board certified forensic anthropologist and botanist and etymologist all analyzed the remains and several observations were noted. There was a distinct lack of bug activity, which was inconsistent with the remains having decomposed at that location. The clothing items lacked evidence of decomposition, which was inconsistent with Suzanne's wearing the bike clothes at the time her body decomposed. Um, Additionally, there was a lack of animal predation on the bones. There was only a very small amount of this desiccated soft tissue found on a few of the bones, and there was no hair mass located. All these features would have been expected if this had been the original grave site where decomposition occurred. The forensic anthropologist opined that based on the factors, it was unlikely Suzanne decomposed from a fresh body to a skeleton at this location. So he moved her. Huh. The El Paso County Coroner Office conducted an autopsy. In addition to the standard toxicology testing, the coroner's office conducted additional toxicology testing at the request of law enforcement for the presence of chemical mixture known as BAM, or the combination of butorphanol or azaparone and medetomidine. These are hard to pronounce. Medetomidine. I don't know. Who cares? There's some kind of drugs, right? Um, yeah, I mean, who cares if I don't pronounce them right, is what I meant, but they are important in this case. The chief toxicologist tested Suzanne Morphew's bone marrow for the presence of BAM. All three of the individual chemicals that comprise BAM were present. Dude, it sounds like she's getting into something down there. Additionally, the metabolite for butorphanol was present. The presence of the butorphanol metabolite eliminated the possibility of post-mortem BAM contamination. So they're saying like she metabolized it, so she was alive. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't after she died and was contaminated with it. So it's, you know what I'm saying? So that's, anyway, I'm sure you guys are following it. The metabolite presence also indicated that her death was not immediate following BAM exposure, was not immediate following BAM exposure because Suzanne's Morphew's body had begun to metabolize the drug before she died. Just what I said. The coroner's office determined cause of death and manner of death as follows: homicide by unspecified means in the setting of the butorphanol, azaparone, and medetomidine, intoxication. A pharmacologist and medical doctor testified about the toxicology testing done to determine the presence of BAM in Suzanne Morphew's remains. About the chemical compound itself, and about the possible effects of that compound in humans. The expert explained that toxicology testing done by the coroner's office met scientific standards of reliability and accuracy. Her further test he further testified that BAM is a chemical mixture of these three specific compounds used as a tool for sedating animals for medical treatment or movement. Back in 2020, in the years leading up to Suzanne Morphew's disappearance, BAM was sold by only one company in the United States and could only be obtained by prescription from a veterinarian. BAM must be administered into the bloodstream through an intravenous and intramuscular injection to be effective, as the skin and GI tract do not absorb it effectively. BAM does not cause sedation instantaneously, but takes several minutes to take effect. BAM is designed not to be lethal and comes with reversal agents in the prescription kit. However, BAM is not FDA approved for any human use. For that reason, there are no scientific studies available that address the possible effects the compound would have on humans. The pharmacology expert testified that the compound would render the recipient wholly immobile, vulnerable, and unable to resist any constrictions to the recipient's ability to breathe. Records were obtained for BAM prescriptions related to Barry Morphew. Records also obtained for BAM prescriptions for all persons within the counties and adjacent counties to where the Morphews lived and where Suzanne Morphew's remains were located. Those records showed that Barry Morphew obtained and filled several prescriptions for BAM while living in Indiana. Barry Morphew's last purchase of BAM by prescription was in March 2018. Barry obtained multiple kits that each contained multiple doses just a few months before the Morphews moved to Colorado. Records further showed that no other private citizen or private businesses in any of the surrounding counties had purchased BAM prescriptions from 2017 to 2020. Colorado Parks and Wildlife and the National Service were the only entities that received prescriptions of BAM in those counties from 2017 through 2020. Investigators learned that each of these government entities enforced tight regulations to monitor the BAM prescription storage and use. None of the BAM from these agencies were unaccounted for. Ultimately, the prescription records show that when Suzanne disappeared, only one private citizen living in that entire area of the state had access to BAM, Barry Morphew. All offenses against the peace and dignity of the people of the state of Colorado. Yeah, basically, BAM. That's what I have to say. BAM to Barry. Ha ha. Okay, I'm going to take a sip of this. So that's the new indictment. Now let me put on my headphones. Hey Trent, how are you? No, I don't think so. I mean, I think it was Barry 100%, but you think it was one of their daughter's boyfriend. Ooh, I feel it cool air, because the one vent does work. I'm feeling it come up. Actually, normally I don't, because I swear even the vent that does work, it doesn't come like through very good. It's just like very light, but I'm actually feeling it for once. Okay. So let's watch a couple recent news clips of this all, and then we'll go back and watch like old stuff too, like body cams and stuff. Unfortunately, I didn't go transfer some of the like documents as pictures and stuff like that from my other computer, but I think we have enough just to watch tonight, and we could do it maybe another night, because since this is going to be a new case, I mean, he just got rearrested, so I mean, I'm going to be covering it, the trial. Hopefully, we'll be able to watch the trial and stuff. That'd be awesome if we can. All right, let me play what I saved for us to watch. What to watch? This was, like, before I did the Idaho live, so there might be even new stuff after that, but I'm just gonna I'll play what I emailed me first. Okay. So, we'll do just a few news clips and then watch
development of the day.
I almost kinda wanna watch that, or maybe parts of that, interview with his daughters and him. It's so weird, guys, if you because like, a lot of you guys are new to this case, or maybe not a lot of you guys, but some of you guys, it's just so see what you guys think of it. Okay, so let's watch this.
Death of Suzanne Morphew. Her husband, Barry Morphew, charged with her murder again. A grand jury indicting him on a charge of first-degree murder. He was taken into custody in Arizona today and is waiting extradition to Colorado. Now, Morphew is accused of killing his wife, Suzanne, on Mother's Day 2020. Now, he was first charged with her murder in 2021. Those charges, though, were dropped just days before the trial because of prosecutorial misconduct, which in fact led to the disbarment of the district attorney, Linda Stanley. Now, at that time, Suzanne's body still had not been found. Her remains were found September 2023. Investigators came across them in Moffett, or very near there, during an unrelated search. And an autopsy found a rare mixture of powerful sedatives in her bones, typically used as an animal tranquilizer. I'm glad you're with us to wrap up this busy week. I'm Shannon Ogden. And Denver 7 is digging through this new indictment, learning more about why prosecutors decided now was the time to move forward with this case once again. Denver 7's Claire Lavazorio in Alamosa tonight with new details.
We're down here in Alamosa, where the district attorney formally announced the first-degree murder charge just a few hours ago, saying the team has done everything they can to take this case to court. It's been more than 5 years since Suzanne Morphew first went missing, and I spoke with one of her close friends who says she hopes this new development will lead to a conviction.
Please.
A husband once pleading for his missing wife's return.
Love you, we miss you, your girls need you.
Is charged with her murder for a second time.
Colorado as a whole has never stopped fighting for justice for Suzanne.
Barry Morphew was arrested on Friday in Arizona. He's now waiting to be extradited to Colorado. This comes nearly 2 years after Denver 7 was the only station alongside investigators as they discovered the missing mother's remains just outside of the town of Moffett. And a CBI official confirming with me here on scene. We spoke with her close friend, Tisha Leeway. She hopes this time justice sticks.
Now, I believe that they're not going to let this go. I wouldn't even have cared if it was 5 more years, as long as they get the evidence and get the conviction this time.
New details from the grand jury indictment say Barry was the last known person to see her alive. The documents also reveal Barry told investigators following Suzanne's disappearance that their marriage was the best. Though the indictment alleges Suzanne confided in people that she was unhappy in the marriage in the weeks and months leading to her disappearance. Had been having a secret affair with an old acquaintance. During Suzanne's autopsy, an animal tranquilizer known as BAM was found in her bones. The indictment says the chemical mixture requires a prescription and is tightly regulated, making it difficult to obtain. It also claims that Barry was a deer farmer and the only private citizen living in that area of the state that had access to BAM at the time of his wife's disappearance. Friends like Leeway hope that piece of evidence will be the final nail in the coffin for this case.
Court hearings take a long time. We're one step closer, and I think we're a huge step closer, honestly.
We reached out to Barry Morphew's attorney for a response to this indictment. He sent us a statement which says, in part, Barry maintains his innocence. The case has not changed, and the outcome will not either. Morphew is being held on a $3 million cash-only bond. In Alamosa, Claire Lavazorio, Denver 7.
And again, this is the second time Barry Morphew has been charged with the murder of his wife. And as you know, the justice system prohibits so-called double jeopardy. The Fifth Amendment protects people from being tried multiple times for the same crime. So this afternoon, I spoke with attorney Stephen Longo about how a person can be charged twice for the same crime and just how often this happens.
Explain how he can be charged again with the same crime.
Yeah, so effectively, when we think of someone being charged again with the same crime, immediately we think of something like double jeopardy, right? Well, why do we get a redo? And that's because there was effectively no dispositive outcome with the first case, right? It wasn't dismissed by a judge. It was not brought in front of a jury of his peers to invoke his right to a jury trial. Prosecutors had a little misstep with what they disclosed and how they disclosed it. and their expert testimony,
So
which
he's
was going to
so-
back and present a lot of that evidence, was not going to be allowed by the judge. So what the prosecutors decided at that point was, let's pack it in, dismiss the charges, effectively what we kind of said, without prejudice, so they could bring those charges again.
How unusual is this?
That's what it was, without prejudice, which means they could bring them again. Okay. Yeah, because they weren't allowed because the prosecutor did the misconduct, and I still don't really get like exactly what she did so bad. But so she so I think what they wanted to do is wait till they had a stronger case. They wanted to find, like, let's wait till we find her. We got to find her because there might be some evidence on her that will help us convict him. And that's what they did. They dismissed it without prejudice. They found her. They were able to get that BAM in her system and be able to have a probable cause to indict him again. And now they're going to have a stronger case. So there you go. I agree. Don't dox me. Oh, I agree. I think this is a closed, open and shut case. Is that what they call it? Like, I mean, it's not. I think it's strong. I mean, of course, there's always a possibility, but I think hopefully she gets justice because he, in my opinion, is so guilty.
I don't think we see it very often, right? It's newsworthy, not just because of the publicity of the case and the nature of the crime itself, but usually when prosecutors bring charges, it's because they are confident that they have the evidence to proceed to trial and secure a conviction.
Do you guys want to watch the press conference or hold on. Oh, that was weird. Okay, so I don't know, it's up to you guys. Let me see how long it is. Do you think, or will we not? Let's start to watch it. I haven't watched it yet, to be honest. It was from yesterday. We could start to watch it and see if it's interesting. We could always turn it on double time if we have to.
In Bagwell, I'm the Director of Administration for the Office of the District Attorney here in the 12th Judicial District. Standing behind me is District Attorney Ann Kelly, that is Kelly, who you'll be hearing from shortly. I also have Sheriff from Saguache County, Dan Warwick, Warwick, Chaffee County Sheriff, Andy Rorick, Rohrich, and Colorado Bureau of Investigation, Agent in Charge, Chris Adams, ADAMS. After District Attorney Ann Kelly's statement, she'll be available for a few questions. Any other questions after that can be directed to media@da12.state.co.us. Thank you.
I appreciate the members of the media that are here today. I scheduled this briefing to provide an update on the investigation that has been in the hearts and minds of the people of Chaffee County since Mother's Day of 2020. Suzanne Morphew was reported missing on Mother's Day 5 years ago. Law enforcement has never stopped working to obtain justice for this mother of two, this daughter, this sister, and this beloved member of the Chaffee County community. Through the tireless efforts of the Chaffee County Sheriff's Office, the Saguache County Sheriff's Office, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, I can announce today that the 12th Judicial District Grand Jury returned an indictment. The grand jury has indicted Barry Morphew on the single count of murder in the first degree. Law enforcement, the Chaffee County community, and Colorado as a whole has never stopped fighting for justice for Suzanne. Cold case homicides are tremendously difficult. They're difficult for the families of the victims and the communities who wait patiently for answers. While it may seem at times that the world forgets about these victims, I can assure you that my law enforcement partners and Colorado's law enforcement community do not forget. Every unsolved murder is a tragedy, and we must never give up on our efforts to find answers in these cases. My office will be prosecuting the indictment as Suzanne's remains were found in Saguache County, which is a county within my jurisdiction, the 12th Judicial District. I am extremely appreciative of Michael Doherty, who is the elected district attorney in Boulder County. He has consistently committed material resources to small rural DA's offices like mine to assist in the sometimes Herculean efforts to bring justice for victims in rural areas of our state. His commitment to rural Colorado he's continued his commitment with this case. He's provided me with the assistance of a chief deputy in the Boulder County District Attorney's Office to assist me with the investigation and the prosecution. Colorado's community of prosecutors is committed to assisting wherever the need arises. In addition to Mr. Doherty's assistance, District Attorney John Walsh of the Denver District Attorney's Office has committed to providing me with appellate guidance during the case proceedings. So today I have with me Chaffee County Sheriff Andy Rorick. I stand united with Sheriff Rorick and Under Sheriff Alex Walker. I stand united in announcing this indictment. Through this process, I have seen firsthand how deeply Sheriff Rorick and Under Sheriff Alex Walker and the entire Sheriff's Department in Chaffee County cares about this case. I am proud and appreciative of our cross-jurisdictional partnership and their hard and excellent work. I also stand with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, who has never wavered in its commitment to this investigation, providing essential intelligence and investigative resources and expertise through the years. I also recognize and appreciate our continued partnership with the Colorado Bureau of Investigation. The Colorado Bureau of Investigation has done incredible work, and their CBI agents and analysts have worked very, very hard to advance the goal of finding answers in this investigation. Here representing the CBI is Agent in Charge Chris Adams with CBI's Pueblo office. I also stand with Saguache County Sheriff Dan Warwick, who is here with me as well. He and his office immediately answered the call to action when Suzanne's remains were found in the county he represents. Sheriff Warwick and his deputies are an essential part of this team, responding to the recovery of Suzanne's remains with the highest level of dignity and professionalism. I also want to continue to recognize what I have come to expect in my years as a prosecutor, and that is multi-jurisdictional and multi-state cooperation and partnership. I want to recognize the Arizona Department of Public Safety, who immediately responded to our team's request for assistance in locating and arresting Barry Morphew in the Phoenix area. Mr. Morphew will be held by Arizona authorities pending extradition proceedings in that state. And upon conclusion of those proceedings, Mr. Morphew will be transported to Alamosa County to stand trial on the indictment. This indictment has been unsealed upon the arrest of Mr. Morphew. I asked for this briefing to provide you with an update and provide information to the community. Me and my team recognize the importance of being laser focused on the prosecution and to speak with one voice. And so for that reason, all of the agencies that have been involved in getting us to this place, as well as the prosecutors that have been willing to assist me in this investigation and prosecution, they have all been instructed to send any media requests to my office. And so that's what I'd ask of you. In an effort to be transparent, I'd like to thank the the Office of the Judicial District in this district for making the indictment immediately available. And so you can get a copy of that indictment on the state judicial's website. It is linked on a page labeled Cases of Interest, and it's under Alamosa. Barry Morphew is presumed innocent in this case and that presumption remains with him unless and until he is convicted at trial. And so once again, thank you for allowing me to provide an update to the community on this very important case. And I can take a couple of questions if you have them. Yes, sir. And thank you for the question. The question was, what was Barry doing in the Phoenix area? I appreciate the question, and that information was still being gathered. We have been working very, very hard to make sure that we run down anything we can with respect to this investigation, and our law enforcement officers will certainly be following that. Yes, sir.
In the indictment, you noted that pharmacology expert testified that ban would render the recipient unable to resist any constrictions to the recipient's ability to breathe. Do you believe the dosage of ban was so great it killed her, or that she was so incapacitated she was strangled or something?
And thank you for that question. I am looking forward to having our team present all of those facts in a court of law. Obviously, I would like to be able to provide my comments, but my ethical obligations will not allow me to. However, I am very appreciative of the Judicial Department for making that indictment available, and I look forward to having our team present this case in court. Yes, ma'am.
Why now?
That's a great question. And so we, as prosecutors in Colorado and law enforcement in Colorado, we are very dedicated to making sure that we don't forget the victims of cold case homicides. But we also understand that it is so important to make sure that we have done everything we can to bring a case to court. And we are proud of the work that we've done. Every victim of homicide, murder in Colorado deserves that kind of attention, deserves that kind of work from law enforcement. And I would say that having the opportunity to work on these cases and to bring justice for these victims has been very important to me. Yes. Yeah, let me.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Was Morphew surprised at all when he was taken? Was he expecting this?
And thank you for that question. The question is whether or not Morphew, what Mr. Morphew's reaction was. And I can tell you that that's going to be part of the case, and we look forward to presenting that in front of a jury. Yes, sir.
So the male DNA was found in Suzanne's car. Are you guys moving forward? Are you guys using that evidence for his trial? Tell us more about that.
And thank you for that question. The indictment has a wealth of information about that particular topic, as well as the probable cause that supports the arrest in this case. And obviously, we are going to do everything we can to make sure that justice is done for Suzanne. And that includes being as thorough as we can about the facts of the case.
Another question. When you arrest Barry in Arizona, so that's still investigating right now with Arizona law enforcement?
So the Arizona Department of Public Safety has been an incredible partner for us. They organized immediately when we asked them to respond when we received the indictment. So I very much want to thank the Arizona Department of Safety. What about you, sir?
What will be the biggest difference between the prosecution of this case and the time versus back in 2021?
And the question is, what would be the difference between the prosecution of this case and other prosecutions? You know, justice for cold case homicide victims remains a priority in the state of Colorado, both for prosecutors and for law enforcement. And that's despite any challenges that we may have had in the history of any particular case. That remains a priority for us. And so we have worked very hard to move forward in the case. This case is a different case, and I would refer you back to the indictment in this case. And we've worked very hard to move forward. Yes, sir.
On an emotional level or on a personal level, and it's okay if you repeat yourself, can you talk about the journey your journey from the day this was dismissed until today? Just broad strokes. Just tell us that story.
Well, thank you for that question. The question is, what has this process looked like, essentially? What has this process been like for the family, for the community, for our law enforcement partners? And I can tell you that it has been a long road. It has been a long road, and the families of the victim have been so patient. The community has been so patient. But I can tell you that our law enforcement officers have never forgot, have never given up. And they have been working so hard to get to the place where we are today. And so it is never enough to say we're just going to forget about it because it's too hard. And so that has been the process for me. And I'll take maybe one more question here in the front.
Can you elaborate further on where Suzanne's remains were found in relation to Morphew? I know it's undisclosed, but can you provide more detail about the issue itself?
So it was in and around the town of Morphew, and that raises an important question that I want to address. And so the remains of Suzanne Morphew were found in Saguache County, and that's obviously a county in my jurisdiction. And so jurisdiction in this county is appropriate. I can tell you that I have reached out to and contacted my friend and colleague, elected District Attorney Jeff Lindsay, who currently covers Chaffee County. He is in full support of our efforts to prosecute this case here and has committed to providing any resources that we need to prosecute this case.
How did you know Morphew was in Arizona?
And the question is I'm sorry, can you say that again?
How did you know Barry was in Arizona?
And I appreciate that question. We obviously have never given up on this investigation. And so working with our law enforcement partners, we were able to make that determination.
Could anyone else possibly face charges?
So right now we have the indictment in front of us, and we're committed to working hard to get that done. So, and this will be the last question. Thank you so much.
Just one last question. From a community perspective, this community's been through a lot with the district attorney's office, and we've watched you take it over and repair it, stand here with law enforcement, something this community might not have seen in the past. We've watched you build a staff. Now we're at the point where we've got all kinds of television cameras here because you've done what you've done in this particular case. Speak to what kind of satisfaction you have and gotten here, and is the job done with your staff, and can you now move forward?
Well, and thank you. The question relates to the status of our district attorney's office and where we've been in the last 3 years. And thank you for the question. The effort that we undertook to come to the San Luis Valley, that I undertook to come to the San Luis Valley and build the district attorney's office was quite tremendous. But I can tell you that the collaboration of prosecutors across the state to assist me, to assist my staff, to assist law enforcement has been absolutely tremendous. It is a testament to how strong our law enforcement community is and how united the prosecutors in the state of Colorado are. And so assisting me in building the office in the San Luis Valley, that is a testament to the assistance that I've received across the state. So thank you for the question.
Thank you for what you've done.
One last question, and when do you expect Barry Morphew to show up?
Thank you. So he's currently being held by the authorities in Arizona. He will go through a process of extradition, and when that process concludes, he will be then transported back to Colorado. So thank you so much.
Okay. I'm going back to the indictment. I do not remember reading anything about him. Somebody just said it was in the indictment. Did I miss that? I don't remember reading his name changed in the indictment. I'm just like skimming it through because I'm like, am I losing it? Because I don't remember that. And I was actually absorbing this stuff when I was reading it. Like sometimes I'm like, I mean, I actually was. It must be right at the beginning, maybe. No, it's not. Unless if it's like the beginning where I skipped like the truck. It's not in the indictment I read. I just went through it. Huh. I don't know. Anyway. All right. So that let me play something else now. Hold on. I loved her I love her necklace though. That's so nice. Very nice. Okay. Let's play. This is the one I just played, right? Oh, hold on. That's the one I was gonna play. Okay, hold on one second. Official Scary Morphew. Oh, let's watch this. Ooh, this is the one. This is interesting. Actually, I didn't even realize this happened. This was, hold on, let me see the date. This was 2 years ago. Wait, is it the one I was thinking of? Hold on. I don't know if this is the video. Oh, no, this is a different video. Hold on. I gotta find the one because this is, I just was talking about it. Wait, this might be it too. No. Hold on. I'm gonna play that after. So there's this charge. Hold on, let me find it. Since I was just talking about it, I have to play it. Where did it? Ooh, this will be a good one too. I have some good ones.
The controversy.
One, but hold on. I'm gonna find that one real quick first. It's gotta be this one. Yes. Okay. So this I did not know happened. It's listed as July 2022. So it would have been so it would have been, when did he get arrested? Because it took them a while to actually arrest him, and then they released him. Because I'm trying to figure out if, hold on, let me see if that says it. But no, I didn't even realize this. Hold on a second. Does it say when he got arrested? May 9th. It says he got released September. Oh no, she was found September 22nd, 2023. So it was May 10th, 2020 when the murder happened, but I don't remember when they actually arrested him. And I just want to know, because maybe it says it on here, if he was actually in jail when they caught him. Well, obviously he wasn't in jail when he did it. So, oh, well, let me put this down. Did you guys know, and maybe some of you guys that were probably following it knew, did you know that he freaking voted after his wife was missing under her name? Check this out. I swear I didn't know this.
Of killing his missing wife near Salida 2 years ago, now admits to illegally voting for her. Barry Morphew pleaded guilty to forgery in Chaffee County courtroom this morning.
Following the plea, investigative reporter Dan Beatty spoke with Morphew's defense team. He joins us live in studio. Dan.
A bad ballot now ending with Barry Morphew taking a plea deal with the district attorney's office in exchange for a guilty plea. His defense attorney says they could have fought this charge, but Barry wanted to take the focus off himself and place it on his missing wife. This is a picture of the bad ballot turned into the Chaffee County Clerk's office in October of 2020 by Barry Morphew on behalf of his wife, Suzanne, who went missing several months earlier. Her signature isn't there, but the date and Barry's are. According to arrest records, FBI agents asked Morphew why he voted on behalf of his missing wife. He said, quote, "Just because I wanted Trump to win, I just thought give him another vote. I figured all these other guys are cheating." While appearing in a Chaffee County courtroom by video call Thursday, Barry Morphew pleaded guilty to forgery. According to the plea agreement with the district attorney, he is not facing jail time, and it will be removed from his record after 1 year.
He pled guilty today to put this behind him.
Iris Etan is Morphew's defense attorney.
As his legal guardian, he sincerely believed, because he could sign legal documents for her, and he could, even just sign property documents, tax documents, that this was no different, and he made a wrong choice.
A little more than 3 months ago, the district attorney dismissed a murder charge against Morphew for Suzanne's alleged death. His defense team believes they could have fought the forgery charge as well.
But Barry didn't want to put this out there anymore and put his life as a spectacle. What he wants is he wants the prosecution to try and use their resources instead of prosecuting him to find Suzanne.
The 11th Judicial District Attorney's Office did not respond to our request for comment. If you have any information regarding
Yeah, and I was following this case when all the updates. I did a video and then like they released him and arrested him and stuff. I did not know that. I must have missed that. That was 2 years ago. How funny. I mean, it's not funny, but it's kind of funny that he got in trouble for it and an idiot. Yay, Lisa Lynn. Oh, wait, Lisa Lynn. Is this Lisa Lynn? Lynn times 5. So you were able to create your account? Oh, thanks, Soul. Thank you. Hey, come on, guys. We got a goal going on. Come on. We can do the goal. We can do the goal. I'm so bad. Gosh, my grandma's doing something down there and I don't want to go down. Oh. What is she doing? I hear her. It has to be her because my mom wouldn't be up. Okay, so we'll play that. Now let me play. This explains. I think it does. Okay, so Linda Stanley, lead prosecutor in the Barry Morphew case, disbarred for dereliction of duty. So this explains that why she got disbarred. Okay, let's play it.
Commercial district attorney who botched the Suzanne Morphew murder case and whose comments led to the dismissal of murder charges against another suspect is going to lose her job. Thanks for joining us for 4 o'clock at 9 News. I'm Tom Green.
And I'm Kim Christensen. Linda Stanley led the case against Barry Morphew. She faced complaints over her conduct and handling of cases that have now led the Office of Attorney Regulation Counsel to disbar her. Stanley is the Republican district attorney in Chaffee, Fremont, Park, and Custer County. She led the prosecution of Barry Morphew, who was accused of killing his wife Suzanne in May of 2020. Stanley dropped the charges just days before that trial started. Complaints filed against Stanley accused her of making inappropriate comments to a podcast. They also say she showed up late to court and launched a secret investigation into the judge because she did not like his rulings. A judge in a separate case dismissed charges against a man accused of killing a 10-month-old baby because of comments that Stanley made during an interview with our partners, KRDO in Colorado Springs.
He has zero investment in this child, zero. He's watching that baby so he can get laid. That's it. Without the caring factor, without the love factor, then the baby's a pain in the.
The decision.
Confused what what is she exactly saying? Oh, thanks, so yay. About the baby thing. So I was under the impression it had something to do with the Barrett case is why. Because what was the whole thing where they wouldn't let the expert testimonies or whatever, witnesses and stuff? I still don't get all that, but wow, okay, so there was other stuff. So she was disbarred for like stuff that wasn't about the Barry case? Yes, Casey, let's meet it. Let me rewind this part because I'm a little bit confused about that last thing. I just want to hear it again.
He has zero investment in this.
A 10-month-old baby.
Right here.
A judge in a separate case dismissed charges against a man accused of killing a 10-month-old baby because of comments that Stanley made during an interview with our partners, KRDO in Colorado Springs.
He has zero investment in this child, zero. He's watching that baby so he can get laid. That's it. Without the caring factor, without the love factor, then the baby's a pain in the.
The decision to disbar Stanley refers to her dereliction of duty. It was said that she abused her position of trust and that she must be disbarred. District attorneys are required to have a law license in Colorado. If they lose their law license, another lawyer takes over the office. We've reached out to Stanley's office for comment. We haven't heard back.
Okay, so I didn't know that. See, I guess I missed some things on this case. Okay, so I'll thank Sol and Casey. Get the train going. Okay, so let's see what this is. Oh, is this? Oh, let's this. Look at this one. It says, because I guess I didn't. I got these because I wanted to understand this whole thing. So this is what happened with his case as far as like what was inappropriate. So Barry Morphy's attorney files a complaint against DA, 6 other prosecutors in case. Let's see.
Here in Colorado, it's now been nearly 1 year since murder and other charges were dropped against Barry Morphew. He's the man from Chaffee County accused of killing his wife, Suzanne here. She's been missing for nearly 3 years.
Well, now Morphew's attorney is pushing for punishment for the DA and 6 other prosecutors involved in this case. Fox 31's Alex Rose on it with those allegations.
Now, District Attorney Linda Stanley's office has already been sanctioned repeatedly for failing to provide discovery to the defense in several cases. So, folks, this matters because defendants have a right to know what the prosecutor's case is. They also have a right to a speedy trial. So in another case, not Morphew's, this one in Fremont County, a judge actually ordered a first-degree murder charge to be reduced to second-degree murder weeks ago because the office didn't meet deadlines, saying, quote, "You have to do your job. You simply have to do it." And there is a pattern of this office not doing it. Today, we're learning Barry Morphew's attorneys filed a complaint to the Office of Attorney Regulation Counsel to investigate Stanley and members of her team for alleged misconduct during the lead up to the trial that, as we know, never happened because the charges were dropped. These allegations include unethical practices, continued pattern of discovery violations, like we mentioned earlier, failure to respond to security concerns for court personnel, and violations of the Victims' Rights Act. They're calling for more sanctions and even for these 7 to be disbarred. They also claim the FBI and CBI worked with the DA's office to conceal evidence, specifically DNA found in Suzanne's car that didn't match Barry Morphew's DNA. Morphew's attorney, Iris Eiton, railing against Stanley in a press conference earlier today, calling for accountability.
He was held for 5 months in a cage based on information that wasn't true. She has a license to practice law more powerful than most other individuals in this entire country. She should have to answer for that. So yes, I don't believe she should have a right to prosecute other human beings.
And the problem solvers just received a statement from Stanley saying, in part, the potential filing of a complaint against an attorney is not equivalent to the attorney engaging in any misconduct. It goes on to say all individuals, whether facing a potential complaint against their professional license or facing criminal charges, are entitled to due process. Because we have no information on the complaint alleged by Ms. Eiton, we cannot comment at this time. That full statement is up at KDVR.com. Now, a year ago, Stanley said they needed to drop charges for the search for Suzanne's body. They still haven't found it till this day. Even though the charges against Morphew were dismissed, charges could be brought again based on the ruling from the judge nearly a year ago. Alex Rose, Fox 31.
So they have found, and that was 2 years ago. So they had, like I said, they dismissed it without prejudice before they found Suzanne. And I think their goal was to find her and then be able to build a stronger case, which they did. They got a strong case. I really think. I don't know why I keep talking all weird. Ooh, let's look at this. A look back at key moments.
A bombshell update on one of Colorado's most high-profile murder cases from the last decade. We learned today that a grand jury indicted Barry Morphew earlier this week. He was arrested and taken into custody in Gilbert, Arizona. The 12th Judicial District Attorney's Office will provide an update on this case at 6 o'clock our time. Barry Morphew is accused of killing his wife, Suzanne Morphew, around Mother's Day 2020. The incident states Suzanne Morphew had a combination of chemicals in her system known as BAM, B-A-M. It goes on to say only one private citizen living in that entire area of the state had access to BAM at the time, Barry Morphew. Barry Morphew has always denied any involvement in Suzanne's disappearance. 9 News reporter Mark Salinger has a look back at some of the key moments from this case.
Investigators say this is the final picture Suzanne took on the afternoon of May 9th, 2020. It's the last piece of evidence that shows her alive. She sent the picture to a man in Michigan she was having an affair with. Suzanne was reported missing the following afternoon. The first deputies to arrive at the Morphew home found her mountain bike nearby in the woods off the road.
Can you try to call the husband and see what type of bike she has?
My daughter, she's at Barry's house.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
Her husband, Barry, arrived home that evening after he says he was on a work trip in Broomfield. He immediately asks if an animal could have killed him.
Lion? Yeah, it was just like
Was that no lion? Mountain?
For months, state and federal investigators searched for Suzanne and any clues that might lead to answers. On May 13th, 2020, her bike helmet was found near the road.
We have a
On May
brand new
22nd of that year, the FBI searched through a construction site in Salida that Barry had been working on.
I believe the house is just below us right now.
In September of 2020, Suzanne's brother Andy couldn't stand by and watch any longer. He organized a team of dozens of volunteers from around the country to search for Suzanne. Each search turned up few results.
Please, we'll do whatever it takes to bring you back.
It wasn't until May 5th, 2021, nearly a year after Suzanne went missing, that Barry was arrested.
And I wouldn't bring charges unless I was confident.
District Attorney Linda Stanley charged Barry with murder in the disappearance of his missing wife. She didn't reveal what evidence she had, but promised the public there was enough to convict him.
And it's about all the individuals that knew her and loved her and cared about her.
After a year of preliminary hearings and pretrial court appearances, prosecutors dropped the charges against Barry, saying they don't have a case without the testimony of the expert witnesses the judge ruled to exclude from trial.
That's what innocence looks like right there.
Mark Salinger, 9 News.
We got his arraignment. Hold on. Let's watch this. His new arraignment's on Facebook. Ooh, cool. We were going to watch it. Okay. So this is him now getting arraigned again. His initial appearance, it says Barry, he just had his initial appearance and said he will not be fighting extradition to Colorado. He answered the judge's question and signed paperwork. Okay, let's listen.
And they have indicated that they want to extradite you back to the state of Colorado.
Let me start.
Good evening, sir. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Barry Morphew, 10/17/67.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like you are here today on a warrant from the state of Colorado. And they have indicated that they want to extradite you back to the state of Colorado. Did you get an opportunity to review that laminated card that was given to you today?
Yes.
Okay. So you have a choice to make here today. You have two options, and we're going to go over what your options are. So first, let's discuss what you're here for. There is, again, a warrant from the state of Colorado. They've indicated they do want to extradite you back to the state of Colorado related to an offense charge of homicide. In this case, you have the option of stating, I am ready to be returned to the state of Colorado. If you were to choose to do that, you would be waiving your rights to any hearings here in Maricopa County. You say, I'm ready for Colorado to come pick me up. If you choose to do that, you would be held here in the Maricopa County jails, non-bondable, for up to 30 days, giving Colorado 30 days to come pick you up. That 30 days would start tomorrow, so long as you do not have any local pending charges here in the state of Arizona. In the alternative, I could set a hearing here in Maricopa County on June 30th, 2025 at 1:30 in the afternoon. In this case, you would be stating you want to have an extradition hearing, and before you're extradited back to Colorado, you're demanding that both governors, the governor of Arizona and the governor of Colorado, sign a warrant requiring you to be extradited back to Colorado before you do that. That process takes about 60 to 90 days. That hearing that I would set here in Arizona is civil in nature, meaning you would not be entitled to court-appointed counsel, but you could hire an attorney at your own expense if you would like to for that hearing. If you were to choose that option, you are eligible for bond. In this case, you have a cash-only bond of $3 million. If you posted that bond, you'd have written conditions of release you'd need to comply with. You would also need to ensure you attended that hearing on June 30th. If you failed to appear at that hearing, you would now have a warrant out of Maricopa County. Your Colorado warrant would still be valid, and you would forfeit the bond that you posted. Based on that information, do you know what option you would like to do here today, sir?
I'd like to waive.
You'd like to waive your rights here today and go ahead and say you're ready for Colorado to pick you up? Okay. Since we are waiving some important rights, I'm just going to go ahead and ask you some important questions before we do that, and then we will get some of your signatures, okay? So again, I just want to confirm you did read the waiver of extradition paperwork, which was that laminated card?
Yes.
Okay. And you do understand that you do not have to sign this paperwork?
Yes.
And you do understand that you have the right to an extradition hearing? That would be that hearing on June 30th?
Yes.
And do you understand that you have the right to hire a lawyer at your own expense?
Yes.
And do you understand you have the right to demand that a governor's warrant be signed by both governors of each state before you're returned?
Yes.
And do you understand that you would have a right to bail, in this case, a cash bond of $3 million?
Yes.
And do you want to give up those rights and sign this paperwork?
Yes.
And has anyone threatened you or promised you anything to get you to sign this paperwork?
No.
And have you had any drugs, alcohol, or medication within the last 24 hours?
No.
I find that you are knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily signing this waiver, and I am also going to sign it. I am directing the sheriff's office to notify the requesting state that you are ready to return. The requesting state will have 30 days from tomorrow to pick you up unless you have local charges pending. If you have local charges pending, then the 30 days will not start until the conclusion of that case. Did you have any questions, sir?
No.
Okay. In just one moment, we are going to ask you to step up here. We're going to need a couple of signatures from you to indicate you are waiving those rights. Okay, are you ready for him? Yes. Okay, if you'll just come right over here, she'll tell you when to sign. You are going to have to sign at least twice. We will get that paperwork printed and brought out to you, okay? Thank you.
I'm confused because she said you have the right to this, to that, and one of them was a $3 million cash bond, and then named all that and then said, oh, so you're aware you're giving up those rights? So he's giving up the rights for a bond? I've never heard that before. I mean, like, as far as to group that all together and then have to say it that day that he's giving up the rights. But I don't know. I mean, because I feel like he could make $300,000 bond. I mean, I don't know. What did he do with that house? Did he sell it? I mean, that's worth probably $1 million. In Colorado, a house like that, probably worth a few $1,000,000 because Colorado is expensive to live. And then he had his own business, but I mean, I don't know if that went downhill because of his reputation, but he probably could have made it a $300,000 bond. But I don't know if he just gave up the right. I'm a little bit confused. It sounded like he did. So that's good. Maybe he's just accepting freaking his fate. He might be he almost looks defeated. Like he's just like accepting it. Like, I'm not going to fight. Like he's just accepting his fate. Well, dude, he had how many years? Well, he wasn't. Let me look up the dates of when he was arrested because I don't think he was arrested for that long. Because I feel like it took a little bit before they arrested him. And then, I mean, maybe a year. I don't know. I can't even think of a time period or guess like how long he was actually arrested. So it happened in 2020, and let's say he got out in 2022. So for sure, he's already been free for like around 3 years after he murdered. So maybe he freaking lived it up and spent a lot of money knowing it was probably coming down on him, especially when they found her. Or wait, when did he get released? Oh yeah, it was like, never mind. He got released. I keep thinking September 2022 is when he got released. No, that's actually when they found her. So he was released before that. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at the dates, but wow. Well, maybe Trent, maybe he's gonna accept it, True, Kim. That's a good point. That's a really good point because if he's gonna fight this, he's gonna need a good attorney. I don't know if he's still gonna have that woman attorney that he had the first time. That's very true. They will cost millions of dollars for like a good attorney to try. If he wants to try to have any chance of winning, he'll need like a good attorney, no public defender. That's a really good point. Oh no, but Kim, they get the bond back as long as they show up. So he would get it back minus the 10%, right? Or wait, no, how does that work? Oh no, he wouldn't get. He'd have to pay 3,000. Wait, Oh my God, I usually know that. I'm having like a moment where, never mind. He has to pay the bondsman. The bondsman puts up the money and then gets it back. So he has to pay the 10%, right? So that's how they get paid. They get paid. I mean, dang it. Well, most people probably with a bond that high don't make bond, but I mean, think about it, like being a bondsman. I know it's hard because you're always risking the person not showing up, and then you need to have like a what's that guy's name? The bounty hunter. To have a good bounty hunter. Um I mean, because if they don't show up, you don't get it back, but still, I mean, think about it. You can get like a good chunk of money right then. So yeah, you're right. He would not get that back. That's what the bondsman's paid because he only has to pay 10%. Yeah, so that's still a lot because 3 million. Normally it's like, okay, like if it's like I don't know. I'm trying to think of a normal bond, but there really isn't a normal bond. They vary so much. I'm surprised she even gave him a bond because a lot of times they don't even offer a bond. But maybe because he's been out so long and hasn't recommitted, they might, I don't know, who knows. Dog the Bounty Hunter, that's his name. Okay, so let me play some. Let's look at something else. Here's another video, and then I'm actually gonna look at some maybe on Facebook if there's anything else interesting. I don't know what this is.
Morphew expected to appear in court at any time tonight after his arrest in Arizona. This
Oh, we just
booking photo
watched
was taken
it.
this evening in Phoenix. A grand jury here in Colorado indicting him for the murder of his wife Suzanne more than 5 years ago.
A grand jury here in Colorado indicted Morphew on first-degree murder charge 2 days ago, and we are learning more about the evidence that investigators say connects him to the murder.
And it's all about the animal tranquilizers known as BAM that were in Suzanne's body when she died, according to her autopsy. The indictment says ultimately the prescription records show that when Suzanne Morphew disappeared, only one private citizen living in that entire area of the state had access to BAM, Barry Morphew.
And we do have team coverage on this tonight with Greg Granietto with reaction in Salida, where Suzanne Morphew lived. But we do want to begin with Nate Belt at the breaking news desk tonight with what we heard from the chief prosecutor just a couple of hours ago. Nate?
Yeah, guys, as you mentioned, Barry Morphew taken into custody today in Arizona, now held there pending extradition to stand trial in Alamosa County, charged by a grand jury today with the murder of his wife. The indictment gives us a new look at just what happened to Suzanne.
I'm going to skip some of this because we already watched it. I have another video I actually want to play. It's I just want to see who wrote this. His attorney. Okay, David Beller is his attorney. So it looks like it's a new one. It says, yet again, the government allows their predetermined conclusion to lead their search for evidence. Barry maintains his innocence. The case has not changed, and the outcome will not either. Okay. But let's see this. This says community reacts to Barry Morphew's new indictment and his wife's death. That might be interesting. Hold on.
Grand jury has indicted Barry Morphew on the single count of murder in the first degree.
Like so many in Salida, Shan Hall has been waiting for this moment.
Probably the best news is
watching prosecutors bring a murder charge in the case of Suzanne Morphew, a woman this community considers one of their own.
my husband remembers her coming in, either before or after bike rides or whatever, but we didn't know each other.
Hall also owns Pancha Market, the local grocery store here both Morphews once visited, making today's indictment feel especially significant.
Yes, just shout it and yes and all the feelings, but I feel bad for being that way too at the same time. I feel awful for being that way because this is nothing to celebrate. No, and as far as like someone's death and the way this was done.
It's a major development in the case many thought might be over after the original charges were dismissed in 2022. But now with Suzanne's remains found and new forensic evidence, investigators say they have the case they didn't have back then.
That evidence, they have that to now bring him in. That was the wait. That was the anticipation. That was the, when is this going to happen,
The news has reopened wounds in Salida, where even people who didn't know Suzanne personally held on to her story.
For the most part, we knew her through this, and this community pulled together like it started all over again. I'm sure you're going to hear it in every conversation, going through our shops.
The community that has held on to hope for 5 years will continue to do so.
Seeing the justice for her happen, period. That's it. I mean, that's the only elation of this. And justice will be when they, when it's over and he's,
Okay. Check this out. This is a Karen Reed, but I just was on Facebook. I just logged on to Facebook because I exited out of the last one. So I redid it and this popped up. Check a look. Hold on. Karen Reed, they're watching her, now she's kind of, famous. Everybody knows her. So they're like, what was this title though? Karen Reed spotted easing back into routine for the first time since she was found not guilty of second-degree murder. Taking out the trash. Let's see if there's any. That's kind of funny. Oh, I'm so happy for her though. Does she have someone? Wonder where she's living? Is there like an apartment complex she's living in now, or isn't she staying in a hotel? Or I don't even know where she's been staying. Huh. It's funny. I mean, not funny, but it's just interesting to watch her. So like, look, I looked up, hold on. It says Barry, his net worth. Let's see what it says. Net worth. I'll go back to that too, but I want to see what this says. It says, did Barry have life insurance on Suzanne? I know well, if he did, he's not taking it. He'll have to take it back, or they'll have to get it back because he's charged murder. I know he borrowed or took money from her or her father, couldn't pay it back. I think Barry's similar to Alex Murdaugh. First, in the sense that there were long withstanding financial issues. He was desperate to keep at bay while also wanting to carry on his narcissistic fantasy. Probably had been thinking about killing Suzanne for a very long time. Okay, wait, where is it? So Suzanne had 2 life insurance policies. One was recently paid to Mal and Macy. Insurance company wouldn't give funds to Barry. Girls have 100% of funds. Wait, what? Girls gave? I mean, I don't know if this is true. It's on Reddit, but it says girls gave 100% of funds to dad after they received it. Shirley Morphew owned that place in Indiana with her son Barry, but recently Barry's had mom sign quit claim so he could deed to Mallory. Wow. Barry now looking for property in Jackson Hole, creeps on all women. His AKA is, there we go, Lee Moore. There's where you guys are getting it. So he's trying to, so people can't look up his name and see, creeps on all women all the time. Lee Moore. Macy has been living with grandma at Buck Drive last month. She was in Arizona a couple of years till boyfriend couldn't deal with her daddy issues anymore. Wait, she was in Arizona a couple of years. Okay. Macy called boyfriend daddy versus his name. His friends and family say they slept with one eye open when she was around. What? Witnessed crazy behavior and violence towards him and his parents. Barry and sister afraid she will tell all, so she isn't allowed to talk to anyone. Mal is still in Crested Butte working at Favor of the Kind. I mean, this take it with a grain of salt because it's just, I mean, we don't know if this stuff's true or accurate, but just got to make sure disclaimer. It's just somebody posting something. Seek out part-time homeowners to ask if she can home sit while they were all away because the condo she bought in Gunnison is listed as an Airbnb. Boyfriend Zach trying to separate himself, but she keeps showing up for place to stay. Says Mal is psycho and degrades everyone behind their backs, including her sister. Worships her dad and would do anything for him. Says she would lie for dad. Girls justify dad killing mom because of affair. Oh my Lord, I can't. Say they will meet her again in another life. Eminem literally pray that mom's case remains cold while they wait for another big payout. Eminem celebrated release of mom's life insurance funds with dad in Santa Barbara last week. Eminem, which is Macy and Mallory, Also gave dad their mom's inheritance funds they received a few weeks ago. They also will not talk to mom's side of the family and say horrible things about them. They also are obsessed with status and money, just like their dad. Wow, I wonder how much of this is accurate. That was from 6 months ago that was posted. Wow. Yes. Frodo's dojo one day, a tragic. Well, I'm so glad he's finally going to get his karma. Suzanne deserves better. Yeah. Wait, let me see if there's any comments under this. Oh my God, my leg is killing me. Tragic. Well, I'm so glad he's finally going to get his karma. Oh yeah, I just read that. Barry did borrow money from Suzanne's father and from Suzanne's inheritance. The former was paid back shortly before the murder. There is no evidence there were any financial problems, though. The murder for life insurance requires a body, unless you want to play the long game. There's never been a word about life insurance policy, though. Money was very important to Barry, especially as far as appearances go. He wanted to project an image of success. Expensive house, nice cars, perfect family. That was about to end. And I think part of the motive was keeping the financial assets he already had, his and hers. Wait, what? This was a year ago. Okay. Suzanne was having an affair and Barry was enraged by it. Couple that with the fact that she had just asked for a divorce and life as he knew it was over. Previously, Barry had resorted to psychologically abusive tactics in order to keep Suzanne in line, to include threatening unaliving on multiple occasions. He tried that one final time after the divorce request, and this time Suzanne ignored it. He had lost all control over Suzanne, and he just couldn't have that. I previously had believed that this was a well-planned crime, despite that hilarious and damning alibi. The location of Suzanne's body, though, tells me that this was likely a more spontaneous, rage-filled event, as opposed to some meticulously planned crime. That particular crime scene is one of panic and not a location Barry would have planned to bury Suzanne had he given this a great deal of thought. This would still be a first-degree murder based on the fact that Barry had to load a syringe with BAM, but there's no evidence of extensive planning here, especially with the triggering event coming just days before. Murdoch killed for self-preservation, and money was at the root of that. He was about to lose everything, and he saw murder as the only way out. Barry killed for control, and while money was likely part of the motive, it doesn't appear to be the primary motive. I think Murdoch put a lot more thought into his crime than Barry did. You know, this is where you and I differ. So talking about where he killed for, well, money was likely part of the motive. It doesn't appear to be primary motive. It says, as you know, this is where we differ. I do think primary motive for the murder was financial. To a narcissist, image is everything. I've never believed the narrative of Barry being a successful businessman any more than I believe he's a good Christian who had a perfect marriage, and keeping with everything else about him, which is false. I'm convinced Barry's self-portrayal of being a successful businesswoman is a sham. I don't believe one thing that dude claims, not one thing. On the spy pen recordings, oh, there's a spy pen too, guys. In an argument with Barry, whilst he was once again trying to get her to loan him some of hers, Suzanne said. Wait, he once again was trying to get her to loan him some of hers, Suzanne said. It's about money, and 80% of our arguments are about money. It's money, it's about money. I believe her. Within a month of her disappearance, Barry was liquidating their assets. Per the affidavit, Sheila Oliver, Suzanne's best friend, said that the money was a huge issue between Barry and Suzanne. In one of their text exchanges in March of 2020, Sheila asks her about what happened that brought about problems, and Suzanne replies, money stuff, it's sketchy. And again, I believe her. Suzanne's grievance list of issues Barry found on her phone included the following: writing checks for cash out of business account, wiring money from an investment account, maybe without asking or discussing, Monix in your name only. The affair is the easy answer. I don't think it's the primary motive for her murder. I think law enforcement settled on it because it's there, it's documented, it's provable. It's a motive any juror can wrap their brain around. Why make the case more complicated for a jury than it needs to be? Solid reasons to present that as motive to the jury. When was this? I want to see when this was written. A year ago. Okay. I'm not arguing that the prosecution really needs to make the case more complicated for a jury than it needs to be, but for the record, again, I've never for a second believed this murder was a crime of passion or about the affair. I think the murder itself was premeditated, planned well in advance, and that Barry had settled upon killing her versus facing the prospect of all his financial, including business and personal transactions, being subject to the close scrutiny of divorce. I think that the affair was the impetus for the murder that convinced Barry that Suzanne was serious this time. And the affair did not, in fact, signal the end of the marriage. The end of the marriage would mean that the destruction of his carefully constructed facade. Wait, the end of the marriage would mean that the destruction of his okay. I think the timing of the murder was driven by the limited window of opportunity that was created when the Steffords went camping in Chicago. Suzanne was alone with him at the house, Barry likely panic mode, thinking Suzanne could cover up or could up and leave him without warning. My own opinion was okay, a lot more to the financial picture. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else interesting. What was this? Reddit.com. Or where did I go? Did I click on it? Where'd it go? Anyway, interesting though. Those first couple were really interesting, huh? Wow. Well, that first one, especially, I wish I could confirm all that. Like, is that all true? I don't know. Could be, or some could be true, some not. I mean, wow. Let's see. Let's see. I just typed in his name right here and it says, let me make this bigger. Oh, I made this really big. But you guys could read with me then. So it says, I've met this man twice, sat next to him in the courtroom, and yes, in a holding cell. Something that should never happen, but goes overlooked in small town Colorado. Just like the first time he was charged for murder. Get it together, people. Murder this day is not too difficult to figure out. But hey, they're all over me for filming an event. Huh? Says for 4 years after Suzanne vanished from the couple's $1.5 million Colorado home. I feel like it's worth more than that, considering it's in Colorado. I mean, depending on where it is, like if it was in Canton, maybe it wouldn't be. But in Colorado, I don't know. I feel like it's got to be worth more than that. But maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, her husband, Barry Morphew, who once illegally voted for Donald Trump using her name, has been charged again with murder. The case has taken a shocking turn with the new release of new evidence. Suzanne's body discovered last year in a patch of remote land known as the Boneyard contained a powerful animal tranquilizer called BAM. Let's see. The needle cap, we read that Friday in Cave Creek, Arizona. His bail sets at $3 million. The landscaper was previously charged in 2021, but the case collapsed due to prosecutorial misconduct. Daughters Macy and Mallory continue to defend him. Okay. You guys want to watch? I definitely want to watch the body cam and stuff with you and go over some of the pictures of the one document where it has like text messages. I definitely want to do that. But since it's so late, let's maybe just do, or it's up to you. Do you want to watch the daughter's interview with him? Because I feel like now it'll like watching it now after all this, and especially reading that Reddit post about his daughters being like that, it'll, when you watch something like after you know more things, you just perceive it different and it takes on like you catch more things and it means something different, Plus, then for the next video I do on this, I could work on getting the files transferred. So instead of playing my old videos, I could just have the raw files Hopefully I'll be able to find them there. If not, like I said, I could always just get my old videos, YouTube videos, but I'd rather get, if I can get the files, and then we could go through them. That's what I said. Okay, it was load off his conscience. He's ready to face what he did. I almost get that thing that maybe he is. Like, what? Do you think he'll plead guilty? But no, because his lawyer, his lawyer's comment makes me think he's not gonna just accept it. He's gonna go to trial. Certain penalties may be non-bondable and require facts with established proof evident or presumption great for the crime. These include felonies involving capital offense. Okay, let me see here. On June 20th, they located Barry Morphew and Gilbert. It's indicted. Okay. Yeah, that's at about 10:55, detectives observed Barry driving in a black Ford pickup, registered to him, and conducted a traffic stop near Civic Center and was taken into custody for his warrant. Yes, yes. There's him and his two daughters. This daughter looks just like Suzanne. Oh my Lord. I always get mixed up which one's which. Now, since it's been a while, I forget for sure. Okay. What a monster. Oh, a jerk. Like, why? Oh, is that him? Somebody saw him and started videoing him. Is that his daughter? Yeah, it's his daughter, it looks like. Ugh. That makes me, if that's true about his daughters, that just makes me sick, disgusted now when I see videos of them. But I don't know if it's true, so I'm just gonna try to be fair, because I mean, that's just somebody saying that. I haven't been able to confirm it. Nope, that's him. Look, that's at Moab. That's in Moab, Utah. That's where I was. I mean, I went on a little trip there. That was awesome. Sunset Grill. Any fellow true crime junkies, I'm happy to share that good old Barry Morphew has been indicted for murder. Especially gratifying that I saw him at a restaurant in Moab in February, posing and smiling without a care in the world. Huh. Got away with it too long. It's about time. And he knows. He knows. He just, like, he looks like he's just like, that'd be awesome if he just accepted it, pled guilty, admitted it, and freaking saved the trial. But I don't think that's going to happen. It looked like it was the way he looked, but knowing him, I doubt he's going to do that. Especially, like I said, because his lawyer wrote it out. But all right, I'm going to play that interview, but I'm just wanting to see if there's anything else interesting real quick in this quick little look at him and their wedding. Oh my God. I actually have that picture in my files too, though. Mm-hmm. Wow, this just in. Yesterday we ran into Barry as we cross. This is September 25th, 2020. As we crossed that mountaintop of where we found the evidence, and he was out hanging trail cams and had a shotgun on his shoulder and warned us not to go any further because we were about to enter private property. And to answer your question, no, he's not involved in the search. Sheridan Mormon. I remember that. Yeah, that's her brother, where he was like, armed, like army or what is the word? Like guarding his property. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess some people would be like, well, but he didn't even go help search for Suzanne because he already knew. And then what he did is he threw the bike down this thing down the hill, and then which we're gonna watch this tomorrow, when somebody what was his name? They had he filmed him, but there is body cam too, isn't there? Where he's like, oh, you know what? Maybe there's a mountain lion, or didn't he say a bear might have got her or something? And we're like, no, there would have been some kind of, you know, sign, like remains or like clothing or something. So he tried to almost like plan it to look like either somebody took her out when she was out on her bike ride, or like an animal took her. It's ridiculous. But it's good news for Suzanne. I just can't believe the daughters, if that's true about that. Cannot believe it. Missing Colorado woman made bad decisions. What? So May 15th. What? He said that? What? I knew it was gonna be some freaking. Oh, I have this so big. That's why. It's like, why does that look weird? But I have it like, oh, wait. No, I didn't. I swear it would have zoomed in. I just want to see what that's gonna say. He saying she made bad decisions. Excuse me. Oh, there we go.
I had this overwhelming feeling, Nancy, that I needed to come out here and search for her. I actually saw Barry come around the corner.
I've seen this, Nancy Grace.
And he rolled down the window on the passenger side, and his mom was in the passenger seat. Barry's mom. And I said, "Are you Barry Morphew?" And the look in his eyes, I knew immediately that he had done something. Instead of what we think happened, he said, "Let me show you what happened," which I thought was an interesting statement.
So let me show you what happened. And I do have a reward. The bike was found at the bottom of the hill by that tree where the peak is.
Oh, really? There's only been 2 times in my life that the hair on the back of my neck stood up, and the day I talked to Barry and he left was one of those days.
Oh, we'll have to watch the whole thing sometime here too. So you haven't seen it yet. That was a big thing when he caught that video of him. Caught him out there. That Tyson, right? God, I already forget. And he just said his name. I'm just hot and rushing through this a little bit because I just wanted to see if there's anything that pops out. Okay, so let's watch the interview. I gotta find that interview real quick. Oh, look at this. Those thing you sent me, G of Twins. Oh, on Twitter. Oh my Lord. Hold on. Let me see if I could. Let me share this. Hold on a second. And then I'll.
Found by police.
Hold on. Let me bring this over here. So this is G of Twins just shared this with me. Look at this. Lee Moore search. Oh my Lord. If you only knew, woman. Don't do it. Anyway, okay. All right, let me find that interview real quick with his daughters. And then I'll end it on that. Let's see. Because it is getting late and I should walk around a little bit, get the blood flowing. Okay. Here it is. Oh, wait, where's the whole one? I know it's more than this. See, they're just playing clips. Well, I'll play this until I find the full one because I know it's longer than this.
2
It's
years
gotta
after
be. I'll find the original, but I'm going to play this till I can find it.
Suzanne Morphew disappeared from her home in Salida 1 year after her husband Barry was charged with killing her, and 2 weeks after prosecutors dismissed those charges. Barry and his 2 daughters spoke publicly for the first time since the DA dropped the case.
We've been silent for a long time, and we've decided that we finally want to break the silence.
Appearing in a 3-minute pre-recorded segment on Good Morning America and holding hands with their father, Mallory Morphew and her sister Macy said they stood firmly behind their dad.
We just know our dad better than anyone else, and we know he was not involved in our mom's disappearance.
In the court filing to dismiss the charges against Barry, District Attorney Linda Stanley said she believed they were close to discovering Suzanne's body, focusing on a, quote, remote and mountainous region near the Morphew's home that was covered in 5 feet of snow at the time.
I just love my girls.
Oh my God.
And I love my wife. And I just want her to be found.
I just hope that Linda will step up to the plate and do everything she can to find our mom, because what they've done is not fair. And we're never going to stop looking for our mom.
They're looking in the wrong place.
Barry Morphew's attorney, Iris Eaton, says the search for Suzanne was one of many things badly mishandled from the start by prosecutors and other law enforcement officers. Eaton is now planning to file a complaint with the Colorado Office of Attorney Regulation, claiming, among other things, that prosecutors withheld evidence favorable to the defense.
I have never seen prosecutorial misconduct this egregious in my entire career, and I've been practicing law 30 years.
Eaton says she's hoping her complaint results in the district attorney and the other prosecutors on the case being disbarred. When I asked Eaton if she's certain that Barry Morphew did not kill his wife, she said 100%. Kim and Tom?
Well, this is a case that certainly has got national attention, and there is evidence, circumstantial evidence. So I think many people, the DA came out really strongly a year ago, and then when they dropped charges, it's like, what is going on?
I think a lot of people were wondering, both at the beginning of the case and when they dropped charges, why they charged Barry Morphew when they did. A lot of people thought it was a little premature.
Okay, we'll have to wait and see.
Missing Colorado mom Suzanne Morphew.
This should be the whole thing, I feel.
They are speaking out with their father, Barry, for the first time since murder charges against him were dropped last month. Amy is here with the exclusive interview. Good morning, Amy.
Hey, good morning, Michael. For more than a year, a Colorado man was accused by state prosecutors of killing his wife, who disappeared on Mother's Day back in 2020. But just days before he was scheduled to go on trial, Barry Morphew had the charges against him dismissed, and now he and his daughters are speaking out. And in the coming weeks, their attorney says they will request an investigation into how they say the district attorney mishandled this case.
We've been silent for a long time, and we've decided that we finally want to break the silence.
This morning, just days before the second anniversary of her disappearance, the family of Suzanne Morphew is speaking out for the first time since the murder charges against her husband were dropped.
It's been an emotional roller coaster, but we feel like we can finally take our first steps in healing, which is a blessing. And yeah, we just know our dad better than anyone else. And we know he was not involved in our mom's disappearance.
Mallory and Macy Morphew, standing by their father, who investigators believed was responsible for their mother's disappearance 2 years ago. The three, seen walking out of court arm in arm just moments after the charges against him were dropped.
We want to heal. We feel like we haven't been able to heal these past 2 years.
The family says Suzanne left her Colorado home for a bike ride, but never returned.
I just love my girls. And I love my wife. And I just want her to be found.
But investigators told a different story, arresting Barry Morphew, the charges ranging from first-degree murder to tampering with physical evidence. Prosecutors argued that Morphew discovered his wife was having an affair, then murdered her, disposed of her body, and staged a bike crash in a rural area. Releasing this body camera footage from the hours after she was reported missing, police saying Morphew touched evidence.
Hey, could you not touch the bike with your hands, please?
Morphew's daughters say he isn't a killer and are celebrating the dismissal of the case. now demanding District Attorney Linda Stanley should do more.
I just hope that Linda will step up to the plate and do everything she can to find our mom, because what they've done is not fair. And we're never going to stop looking for our mom.
Court filings say that while authorities are close to discovering Suzanne's body, weather has complicated the efforts. The location where Suzanne's body is believed to be has 5 feet of snow concealing it. But the family's attorney says authorities have mishandled the case and are planning to file a complaint against the DA.
And if you want to honor Suzanne and you want to honor the daughters, go find Suzanne.
The DA's office telling ABC News they and law enforcement have been diligently searching for Suzanne Morphew since she was reported missing, and that they are continuing to do so.
Prosecutors need to be held responsible, and they need to pay for the damage they've caused to Barry, which is frankly nearly irreparable, because it's hard for anybody to believe that Barry is not who they claim he was.
Now, the family spoke out this weekend. It was Suzanne Morphew's birthday, and her daughters say, of course, they wished they were spending it with her. The charges against Barry Morphew were dismissed without prejudice, which means that if investigators do uncover new evidence, those charges can be filed again, Michael.
All right. Thank you so much, Amy.
Well, hey there, GMA.
And they did. This is good, guys. And I know, I don't know what I know. I don't know what I was gonna say. I know. I don't know. But oh crap. Hold on, let me see. There's another video, hold on, that I wanted to, that popped up, and I'm like, oh, that looks good. Hold on one second. Oh my god, my ear itches. Oh, look at him and his, this is 3 years ago. Oh, so good. This will give me a time period of when. Look, so this says missing. Oh, I thought I had to share. Missing. What the heck? Why isn't it sharing? Missing mom, daughters go with Barry. Missing mom, daughters go with Barry to find out if murder case will be dismissed. So that is March 2022. So, and it was, I mean, they did dismiss it. Ugh.
Hands with his daughters, Barry Morphew heads to a hearing hoping to have the charge he murdered his wife drop. I'm Dominic Garcia, bringing you CBS 4 News at noon, live on CBS 4 and CBS News Colorado. Morphew charged in the murder of Suzanne Morphew. She disappeared in 2020, and her body has never been found. That case moved out of Chaffee County because of publicity. CBS 4's Rick Salinger was at that hearing, joins us from Canyon City. And Rick, the defense raised some issues about the prosecution.
Well, Dominic, the defense maintains that statements made by a lead CBI agent about the case should have been turned over to them before the preliminary hearing. Now, Barry Morphew arrived at court, as you said, with his daughters at his side. Their support apparently still strong. Their mother, Suzanne, missing close to 2 years now. Former CBI case supervisor Joe Cahill's recorded statements were played for the court. One of those statements, he said, this case is not even remotely ready for anybody to put it forward yet. Morphew was arrested last May and later bound over for trial at a preliminary hearing. Now the defense wants the case thrown out, or at least sanctions of some sort placed on the prosecution for failure to turn that information over. This hearing is expected to go on the rest of the day. The judge could decide to...
Okay. What was I gonna say? Shoot. Oh, now I remember. I think it took, if I'm remembering right, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it took a year. I think it was close to Mother's Day the next year when they arrested him, right? So wasn't it, so after the murder, which was Mother's Day, he didn't get caught or charged for, I think, a year. And I think it was about a year on Mother's Day. The next year is when he got, I'm pretty sure, the warrant, or around that time, if not the exact day, then they arrested him. So he must have been in jail. If that's true, if I'm remembering right, he wasn't, that would make it, well, he wasn't even in jail a year. Like around a year he was in jail, or less than a year, and then he got dismissed. That's what I'm remembering, guys. I don't know. I might be off a little bit, but yes, that's right. The purple, that's right. They were looking for somebody else. You are so right. I almost forgot about that. You are right. Yes. Yep. I totally forgot about that. So thank you. How much do we get? I gotta screenshot this to be entered, but I don't think we're gonna make it. Make the goal. It takes me like 20 times to make it. Let's see. How many do we got? Let me check. Why isn't it showing up? 8. Yeah, we would need 7 more. But thank you, Soul. You're so sweet. I appreciate it. I really do. But I feel bad because you're always doing it multiple times. I know. Thank you, though. I mean, I'm happy. I mean, I'm appreciative. I just feel bad that you keep, because I know you don't really have, wait, I shouldn't say it like that. I mean, you got a family and I don't know. Everything's coming out wrong. Well, it could be taken wrong, but you know me well enough. You know it's not meant that way. Oh, wait, Lisa, I didn't see what you responded. Hold on. Did you respond to me? Yeah, because I got an email. So that wasn't you? I got an email and it was a whole different person's name and it said it was you, I think. Well, did you get, okay. Question, did you get, well, no, because, well, no, yeah, that's you. Did you get a response back? Because I responded to that person. I said, is this Lisa Linlin? But what I just thought is anybody could just say, yeah, if they're just trying to get the free gift card. I don't know. It's just a different person's name. So I feel like, what if it's not you and they're trying to get that gift card and it's just somebody else? I don't know. I'm confused. Or is that you? Because even if I just thought about that, even if the person says, yeah, it could still not be that person. Because the name doesn't match. It's like actually a different person's name. I don't know. Well, I was going to say, well, email me, but that's the issue we're having is like, you're having trouble emailing me. Shoot. I don't know what to do. Shoot, but then how do I get you the gift card? Unless you'd have to give me your address here. You don't want to do that. Because I could do a virtual one, but then maybe it'll be safer to do a mail one because then at least I'll know it's you. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, I don't know. It could be anybody. I'm a little bit confused. Yeah, if you do, maybe you can message Soul and then Soul can get the information. Read Soul's message and see. Do you have that though, Lisa? Anyway. All right, guys, I think I'm going to end this here. Another 2-hour live. So I did like almost over a 5-hour live. I need to walk around a little bit. But I do want to do another live on this case and go over, like I said, the body cam, that Tyler video or Tyson. I'm so bad. Because it was so long ago, and I know we just watched a video and I had his name up there real quick, but I forget already. And then when he used to do videos, that was what, over 5 years ago? Well, maybe I mean, more recent because he was doing them for a couple of years, but I think it's Tyson. Yeah. That video is interesting. And then the body cam, text messages we could go over, different videos, I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff. I feel like if you guys are interested, it really is an interesting case. I mean, I don't know if interesting is the right word, but I mean, yeah, it is actually. I mean, it took 2 years to find her, you know. He took a year to arrest him. Then when he's arrested, it gets dismissed, and then the prosecutor gets disbarred, and then they rearrest him. The whole point of him shooting her with a tranquilizer gun, that's freaking unique. And then the whole chipmunks, it was chipmunks, right? Why was I thinking raccoons? But raccoons was Chad Daybell's where she said he shot a raccoon. Was it, who said chipmunks or whatever? It showed, because it showed him, I'm very rusty in what this information, but if I'm remembering right, it was something about his GPS or whatever showing him like moving around the yard and the house and like a weird, like really fast and weird somehow. I can't remember how they were tracking him, but it was like showing him move all around. And so his excuse was he was like shooting chipmunks, right? Or something. It was at the house. It was so weird. Dude, like the excuses and the weirdness around this case. I feel like the fact that it took them this long and to freaking get enough to arrest him, it might be one of those things where they kind of screwed up the case where they should have probably had him sooner, because I feel like it's pretty obvious, at least in my opinion, that he's the guy. Yes. Yes. I know I shouldn't be laughing. I'm just laughing at the excuse that this man, like the reason, like, come on, shooting chipmunks. Because the theory is, yes, that he was probably chasing his wife or had something to do with that, because it was just odd. The movement was just made no sense. So he's shooting chipmunks. Oh my God. Wait, your comment? What? No, I did see that. No, I know. I saw her say it's her daughter's friend, but does she have Discord? I don't know. Okay, but can I have like a conversation with you though, Lisa? I don't understand why it's so hard to get like in contact with you with technology and stuff. There's no way to like have contact with you? I'm confused. Huh. Well, I just don't know the other person. I would rather just like have a direct contact though. Like you don't have, huh? Because like Gmail, you could get free emails, or Yahoo even. I remember when I first started out, Yahoo was like well, my mom still uses Yahoo. I mean, people use it. I feel like older people use Yahoo. I used to have a Yahoo. It took me I feel like I was like, it took me a while to like switch over to Google. I was always using Yahoo for a while, but that shows my age. Because don't you think, isn't that which I don't judge anybody else if they're use Yahoo, but like I feel like it's older people that do. And like I said, I used to, and it took me a while to switch over to Google, and I'm glad I do, because Google's like more compatible with everything, and it's just like I feel like a more like current like thing. Like, does that make sense that you want to use if you're like doing what I do? I guess I don't know. Oh, I know it's still around. Sweet Melissa Lou, it's still around. My mom uses it. That's what she uses as her main browser and what she, like, her main thing. She does have a Google email. I think, why do I feel like, because I told her to get one, but she has a Yahoo. Wait, is hers a Yahoo or Google? Hold on. Now I'm questioning if her main one is Google or Yahoo, but she uses Yahoo as a browser. So like when it pulls up and I was like, Mom, why aren't like use Google? What do you mean? Like that's all she knows. Like she didn't even know what I meant when I said Google. She like, I don't understand. What do you mean Google? Like, and so her thing is just Yahoo. Like she doesn't get like the different browsers or anything, which is fine. It's fine. I just think it's cute that she has her own little iPad and that she's on it all the time and she knows how to do the things she likes to do. She watches her YouTube. She does games, like her little games, and then she does she actually does what is it? Something that I don't use. She uses for her Christian stuff, like religious stuff, and then political stuff. She really follows like what's going on in the world a lot more than I do. Like she informs me on all that stuff, but she watches like a lot of people that do that, and then they send her over to this other platform where, and I can't remember which one it is, but it's something I don't even use. It's cute though, but it's like something where it's like, oh well, you know, they're not allowed to post this on YouTube because, you know, political, you know how they are about political stuff or certain things, you know, like it's this thing where people think, or I mean it is somewhat true, where you get kind of you have to what is the word I'm thinking of? Like I'm doing wind down now, guys. If you're they limit I can't think of the word, where it's like you're not allowed to do, you know, talk about certain things. So they send her over, like these creators that she watches on YouTube, it sends her over to this other platform where they could show more stuff, you know. I forget what it is, but she's cute. She's got this little iPad stand. I think it is Telegram, yeah. And the only time I signed up for Telegram was for that one case. I ended up downloading it to look on this case that they were talking through Telegram because they were like selling drugs. That case with Matt and Matthew Guerra, I think, and Savannah. Was it Savannah? No, I don't remember what her name was. Shoot, but it was Matthew was his name. And they used Telegram, and I joined it to look at the different conversations, but that's the only time. Oh, she might be, Lisa. I don't know, but she thinks I'm a genius because I help her with like stuff. I don't consider like me knowing a lot of stuff technology wise, but compared to her, like she'll just be like, I can't do this, help me. And I'm just like, oh yeah, there you go. How'd you do that? How'd you do that? It's like, or even things that I've never done before, but I understand concepts of how to figure out like how things work online, like how to figure out like different things. I don't know, just from like experience and going through it and just figuring it out. So even if it's something I've never seen, I usually know how to figure it out. Like I go into settings or she just doesn't know how to do that stuff. So how did you do that? I don't know what I'd do without you. So I feel like I'm her IT person. So yeah, I know. I mean, I'm pretty good in her eyes. I really feel like I'm her little IT person. She has an issue and calls Zav to the rescue. And I think every time I've been able to figure it out. Some things have been a little bit harder than others, but if I can, I'll just Google how to figure out. Usually I don't have to do that. I could just be like, oh yeah, because I don't know if it's a thing where it's like, I'm not going to Google it, I'm going to figure it out. But if it's something where it's like, oh, it's taking a while, it's like, gosh, what the heck? Like I just had to do that the other day where I Google something, but it takes me a while before I decide to Google it because I like want to just do it on my own. But I Googled it and then I was done in a second. She's like, how did you do that? I don't get it. I'm like, oh, Lisa. And I think it is from like having a channel and having to figure out different, you know what I'm saying? I guess I am somewhat like, as far as like, my mom's age people, but probably compared to younger generation, I'm stupid. But yeah, it's cute. Yeah, I guess that's the thing. It just depends on who you're around. Because you got a tech engineer, I'd probably be an idiot. But to my mom, I'm smart. I even think to my brothers, I probably am better at this stuff because like I do it for a living. Like I'm online and then I'm figuring out how things work because if something happens, I need to figure it out. Or if I need to like programs or you know what I'm saying? You have to figure it out. And I'm the type that just goes and does it, just pokes around and figures it out. But my mom won't. Like she just if she doesn't know how to do it, she's like, I don't know. And she just doesn't do anything. But I'm like, I just go in there and like, oh wait, what's this, and look around at the settings or whatever it may be, because you just kind of have to. Because my first couple of years I had Geek Squad. I don't think they've ever helped me for anything. And I kept it for years and never used it because anytime I had an issue, I feel like they never helped me. They came in, oh, I can't do it. Like, what do you mean? Like, that's why I have you. Like for stuff I couldn't figure out. So I feel like when anything happened, instead of calling them, I just did everything to figure out myself. Or if I couldn't, then I just couldn't do it. It's just, I finally canceled them last year. I'm like, what am I even paying for? Because anytime there's an issue, like my mind will be like, no, I'm not calling them. Like, because it's just a pain, and then they end up not being able to do it. And then you have to try to explain it to them, and they like channel stuff. It's like they don't get it. Like the one time way back for Streamlabs, I couldn't figure out how to do it all, and I ended up figuring it out like years later. But I just avoided using it because, or like that StreamYard issue with the audio thing that they couldn't do, and they would just be like, I don't understand what you're talking about. Like, and I try to explain, like, okay, when I go do a live stream and I try to share my audio, and they're like, wait, what do you mean? Like, they're not understanding. So if they don't have experience of like channel or live stream, and it's like, they're like, I don't get what you mean audio. And then they'd be like, look, I could see you, I could hear it. And I'm like, no, but they're not as smart on certain areas. Like, you have to have somebody that like, knows about that. But yeah, so yeah, I just learned to do it on my own. But there'll always be things, I'm sure, where it might stump me, where I haven't had to do it in a while though. Like, I feel like the last time I called like any like computer support, because like when they couldn't do it, I would have to call I'd call like when I had my laptop, the maker of the laptop support, or my Windows or whatever, call like but that's been years because that audio issue, nobody could figure it out. Nobody. I called my internet provider, none of them. That's the last time I called anybody for freaking support, for technical support. I was like, you can't even figure this out. Like every HP, because when I had my HP computer, Dell, it was Dell. I lied. HP was my laptop. That worked on the laptop. So Dell, Spectrum, Geek Squad. I feel like there's one more place I tried to get help with that audio issue. None of them could figure it out. It probably wasn't even that hard. It ended up fixing itself. I mean, I ended up eventually it worked, but I went and my other computer, I went probably, how long, I was saying, do you remember? I probably went year or two, and it wasn't anything where I didn't know how to do it. It was, StreamYard, that's the other, StreamYard itself. The StreamYard, the issue that I was having was with StreamYard. So that was the first place I contacted. They're like, I don't understand. It should be working. I don't know what's going because it was working for like the first year. It was working fine. I know how to share audio, you know, but it was some kind of glitch. And like I said, they couldn't even figure out. Nobody could figure it out. And then after how long, a year or two, it ended up just sharing one day. Remember how excited I was when it just ended up working? It's like, oh my God, that it created such an issue with me. How I had to do it. It was so annoying. Yeah, I should start Streamlabs more. I finally did teach myself a couple years ago the StreamYard, because Streamlabs is harder. It's not as easy as StreamYard, but I just never use it anymore. I should. It's because I have to set up my studio on it again, like set up the little pieces. You have to do like manually set up each thing, but you could do way more. Like there's all kinds of different things you could do with Streamlabs now. That's different than StreamYard. So many different things you could like pick apart, like everything. Like you can move and add everything, and I can't explain it, but you could just do so many little things. With StreamYard, it's so easy, super user friendly. I think anybody could use StreamYard. It's so easy, but you could do a lot of stuff. They're constantly updating it, but Streamlabs, if you know, you know, like there's certain things that making this so user friendly that it limits a lot of different like little perks. But I can say for what I do though, I don't need all that stuff. Like I really don't. Like I'm not one of those that needs all the bells and whistles, as they say, like just different little things and noises, and I don't need that. Like for the true crime, it doesn't really go well with it, you know, so it's not really worth it. Now the things I do like is you could do more, as in like put up like, as far as like, let's say like screens or whatever, you could have, I don't know how to explain it. Like you could like move them and zoom in and like the screens and like make it like, I don't know how to explain it. You can just put them wherever or like crop them wherever and like put things on top of each other, like stuff like that. But most of the stuff is like bells and noises and games and lights and like what I do like, but could be distracting, is that you could add little perks where it recognizes things. I do like that, but sometimes the sounds. But I could turn off the sound. Sometimes the sounds annoys people, but I like it. That's one thing that I do miss, and I should use it sometimes, because if somebody like subscribes, it'll put it up. You could add it so it puts it up on the screen automatically. Somebody super chats, it puts it up like a thing, and you can like pick how you want it to come up on the screen and say thank you or whatever, and it'll show like somebody showing super chats. Or you could put like goals. Remember I used to do the goals, and it'll like different cool things where you can make it like fill up a bottle. So if somebody super chats, then it would slowly fill up and you have a goal or something. You could like visually watch things like that. So that's kind of cool. I'll do it once in a while still. But that's about it. Oh, bye, Karen. Thanks for coming. Yeah, I'm on wind down. I need to take the screen down. I always forget. Like I'll have the stop screen up for the wind down. But yeah, that's about it, guys. Yeah, it doesn't. I don't get the crown. I know I should be more active and like say, oh, number one, number two, but it doesn't. They need to work on it. It makes no sense. When it starts to make sense about the places of the crown, then I will incorporate it into like shouting out and doing it. And I might still if I remember, but it's hard to like get motivated for the crown because it's not like consistent, or it doesn't mean anything. Like the people that's in number one, like it's not like it doesn't match up to what they've done. So it doesn't, I don't know. I think it's experimental. So hopefully they get better at it, because there's no system. It makes no sense. Like somebody could be number one and somebody else has done way more stuff. And you know what I'm saying? So yeah, they need to work on that, because that could be a really helpful tool, because like people like to be noticed, you know what I'm saying? So it can help us creators big time. But it's right now they need to they need to fix that, because that's YouTube, because that's not working right. It makes no sense. Yeah, but even if it resets every live, it still doesn't make sense. Like, I'm sorry, like, oh, thanks, Hope G. Oh, I didn't even know you were #1 right now, Austin. Are you? No, I don't. I didn't even look. Half the time I don't look, because when I was following, it would make no sense. Because I mean, super chats, they say, are the biggest factor. That should be with the most points, or like memberships and stuff. So like if somebody, it should count. If this is, I mean, I got that email, and it should. It says it should help us creators to make it like where, I forget how they worded it, but like, so we don't have to sit there and try to ask, where it'll be an incentive, because then we can give shout outs for people that contribute. But it's, I mean, it doesn't even take into account, like somebody that super chats might not even be in the top 3, and then people that don't are in the top 3. I mean, I'm not saying that that's all that matters, but they say, I feel like it on the system that is worth more than chat for the crown. So why is it that, you know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't know. Like Soul right now, all those super chats she gave, if that system made any sense, she should be #1 right now, because she gave like 5 super chats, and those are worth the most. But I guarantee she's probably not #1 right now. So they need to work on it, because it's supposed to help us creators. It's not helping crap. I mean, nobody's probably paying attention to it, because it means nothing. It's not, nothing equals anything. And I don't mean, I hope that didn't sound like mean what I said, but my point is there's no relation to what you do and how you're placed. You know, there really isn't. I don't see the correlation of who's placing in relation to what they're doing. And even like chats, like even like, oh, activity as much you chat, but that, I mean, it is not even really correlating to that, you know? Well, I guess you guys are paying attention to it. I didn't realize you guys were still paying attention. Are you? Hey, Caroline. So what number are you? What number are you? You better be in the top 3. But I mean, I've seen you be the only one that does it and not even in the top 3. So there's really no correlation. It's weird. Yeah, hey, if you guys are enjoying it, enjoy it. But how do you even know how to like make it go up if there's no reason or rhyme for it? How are you guys like fighting for it? Just chatting a bunch, and then is that really helping? Now I see why there's so much chat just between like 4 people all the time. Oh, I just thought of that. Is that what's going on? Darksea, thanks. Now that should take you up a notch. Did that take you up some places? Should take you up a whole lot of places, but it probably won't. I just don't get it. But thank you, Darksea. I don't mean to be mad, but I just hope they do figure it out better and like make it correlate better to what people are doing. Because there should be some point system of like what counts as what. It sounded like there was on the email, but I don't think they're able to keep track of it very good. Hey, Melanie. Yeah, Darksea. It makes no sense. It's stupid. But no, it's not stupid. If you guys are liking it and it's helping you be entertained and it's keeping you here, go for it. But I don't like it. I don't like it. But I have faith that they're actually, it's maybe maybe it takes time to develop like it to be a perfection, like to develop it to be able to do it. Like the robot's building its the algorithm or whatever, it's building it, so eventually it's going to get it down where it knows how to do it. I don't know, who freaking knows. I don't understand how that works. I feel like maybe with it needs like it practice to build the muscle to get better at it. The more it does it, the better it gets at it, which is scary because I feel like that is how a lot of it works. That's not good. It's just going to be way smarter than us. But I know for something like this, it's good, but oh, I forgot about Patrick Frazee. Oh my God. Dude, that seems like forever ago. I feel like that was like in my first year of the channel, maybe. When I think about that case, I feel like, why do I feel like that was like so long ago? Oh my Lord. Like, it feels so long ago. Oh, thanks, Darksea. Oh, hey, Melanie, you made it back. Exactly. It makes no sense. It really doesn't. I mean, is that really what all you guys are doing the whole time? Is just trying to like say whatever to get up on it? Yeah, and I think Casey and it, Hossein, and who else? Probably Cicely, but Cicely's not here right now. I'm trying to think the four that was participating last live. It was just like them four in the chat. So it must have been you four just trying to go against each other. All right, guys, I'm gonna go. Wait, what? Just at the end, so I don't know what I don't get what you're saying. Nah, just at the end. Still at 12. Yeah, Darksea. It doesn't help us creators because it doesn't give any incentive to like wanna. Yeah, but it does help entertain, I guess, people. But I'm saying, hopefully, I bet. Let's see what happens in like. Let's give it 6 months, and they better be better at it. Let me know how it's going in 6 months. Well, I'm saying, if there's no correlation, how are you even trying to be first? Like, what are you doing? Just messaging a lot and hoping it takes you up? And I guess it's working. You're just like doing a lot of comments. Is that what you do? Because that's what I'm confused when you're like, oh, I need to be first. Like, what is the tactic for it? Just messaging? Because since there isn't any rhyme or reason, isn't it just frustrating to just watch this randomly happen and not know why it's happening? But you guys don't know why it's happening. That's like, dude, that would drive me nuts. That's like having no control over something and watching it, like watching this thing, having absolutely no control over it, not understanding, knowing like, okay, not knowing why that's happening, but wanting a result, but having absolutely no control, or not understanding why, but just wanting it to be a certain. I'd be going nuts. Wait, are you serious? Austin is always number one? Like, are you serious? Yeah. Austin, you better watch out. You think this is a good thing? Watch it be like, number one, the person that's understanding, watching, is going to follow you around now. It's going to know your every move. It's going to know how you think. It's going to know how you talk. It's going to know your next thought because it's watching you also. No, but honestly, I was saying, are you really always number one? I got to know. Oh my God, don't say that, Casey, because that's going to get people to leave for 15 minutes. That's not helping the creator at all. Somebody that's normally in there all the time, if they recognize, oh, if I leave 15 minutes and come back, it helps. So everybody leaving my 15 minutes to try to be a crown. Thanks, YouTube. Man, this is great. This helps us creators so much. Everybody's leaving and coming back randomly. That really looks good on our algorithm. Oh my God. Melanie, it's makes no sense. Yeah, it's those crowns or something. I don't know. Look, I was number one until Dark Sea donated, and then Casey Marie took it. So the AI is like, you know what? It has their own rules. It says, you know what? When Dark Sea donates, Casey gets the credit, and when Soul donates, Alsane gets the credit. Yep, that makes sense. Oh my God. Soul, what number are you? I don't even want to go look. See, I can't see on StreamYard side, and I'm too lazy to bring up my YouTube because then I got to hurry up and mute it because my voice will be loud in my ear because as soon as I click on it, it takes a minute for me to mute it. I don't want to hear my voice. What number are you? You're number 3, Alsane? Or Soul? Okay. What number is Dark Sea? Dark Sea, what number are you? Who's 1? Casey? And then where's Dark Sea? Where the heck are you? Melanie, where are you? And who else is? Don't dox me. Where are you? Well, I could go look, but let me know when it makes sense, and then I'll shout out the top 3. I can do it. Maybe I'll start doing it, but I just wish it. 57. Oh, Dark Sea's 12. Please say yes to what? Please say yes because I'm insane. I meant insanely competitive. Say yes to what though? Oh yeah. Oh, there is a ranking. Is that what you're asking? Yeah. You wait. Where have you? Have you not been around YouTube, Melanie? Where have you been actually? Maybe you haven't been. Have you been on YouTube or just has been off YouTube for a while? All right, I better go. I gotta walk. I gotta walk around. I'll see you guys. No, I know it's a part of, I read it, but it is, if you think about it, it's a format, I feel like AI, some kind of artificial thing that's keeping track and taking it to understand how to road everybody. To me, I don't know why, maybe that's the AI, but to me, I feel like there's some kind of AI involved. But no, I know, I read it. That's why I kept saying it's an experimental thing. So hopefully they'll get it down where they're able to get a better system down. Why do I feel like it's some part of AI that's getting this all together, that's able to like calculate everything and be able to do it? All right, guys, I'm gonna go. Have a good one. I'll see you guys. Hopefully, I don't know when, but please come. All sweet, Melissa. Everybody, come back next time. Justice Easy. Hey. Although. All right, I'm going to end it. So who's number one? Who's number one? Hurry up, tell me before I end it so I can congratulate him. Real quick, tell me. I really. Alsane? All right, congrats, Alsane. I'm going. I don't know how you keep doing it, but I guess good job.